All right, guys, happy Friday, 10/21, power hour in the house. Hope y'all are having a great day, getting ready for a good weekend. We're going to go seeing. Great English there, Tony. We are planning to go see Black Adam this evening. Let me know in the chat if you guys have your Black Adam tickets booked. And we're going to be talking about the giveaway that we're doing today. At the end of this broadcast, as the market's closing, I'll be talking about that in a few minutes when folks get in the chat one of those Black Adam light up popcorn buckets, collector's items. One of y'all, if you're here at the end of the day, the end of this broadcast, you're going to have a chance to win. And I will, I'm just going to say, open to U.S. residents only. I'm not paying international shipping. Maximus, what's going on? Looper 31. All right, let's look at some stocks here. Markets overall looking good. The news, everybody's praying that the Fed is going to slow down on interest rates. So the markets are getting a bit of a bump here in the end of the day. Ultra Ape, what's going on? Mick. Brian Hunt, good afternoon. Ape Stock, what's up? AMC up 2% today. APE up almost 10%. GME up 2.5%. I know y'all are asking about some other stocks. We can talk about those as well. Whatever you guys want to talk about stock-wise. GTII down 7% today. Arthur, good afternoon. AMC Goldmine, when is the news announcement on what? On what? Annie T, good afternoon. Alicia, howdy. Stocks rally Friday as traders hope the Fed rate hikes will slow down. Well, I could hope in one hand and piss in the other, and guess which one will fill up first, guys? Just reading these headlines off of CNBC. Cryptos this afternoon. 19,000 on Bitcoin, Ethereum 1297, Phantom 20 cents, SHIB. Oh my gosh, did Shiba add another zero since I looked at it last? 9. Oh God, that hurts if you're in SHIB. All right, Aisha, once we get a few more people in the chat, so I don't have to repeat myself, I'm going to tell you guys what you have to do. This is going to be a guessing contest, but we'll wait probably till about 2:30. I'll go over the rules, and all you'll have to do is type your guess in. And whoever is going to be closest without going over, it's not going to be the price of a stock. I'm going to throw a curveball to you guys. Leader Landscape says, how's my deep dive on Northbridge or Hycroft? I'm doing a deep dive on Hycroft. I was waiting for, reached out to Hycroft. I reached out to a couple of geologists also, and people that are experts in this field. And the responses are coming back in, so I'm kind of delaying hitting the publish button on my video. You know, I like to fact check my own self before I say something on camera. It's bad enough that people who don't do any due diligence like to try and fact check me. Guys, I fact check myself before I publish anything, most of the time. So when I put that video out, I hope to have the most accurate opinions out there. Gorilla Gardener, what's going on? Arthur Martin says there's no Black Adam 10s within 100 miles. Yeah, Arthur, when they put them for sale online, that's where I went ahead and ordered a couple of them. So they will be arriving to my place here shortly in the mail. And whoever wins today, once I have it in my hot little hands, I'll forward it on to you. Maria, good afternoon. Billy, 87. What's up? Jason. AMC Gold Mine, good afternoon. David Ellensworth says 30% arbitrage opportunity on ACI. All right, we need to look at that one. Yes, Arthur, 3,000. I haven't checked since I bought mine. Does it update how many are left? Andy Wynn, what's up, Andy? Giving away a Tesla. One day, guys, I'll give away a Tesla. We're not quite there yet. I think you got to be up in, what, Mr. Beast category to give away an island or a Tesla. So, someone asked earlier about GTII. I'm gonna tell you how I look at this one, guys, and I've said this on live streams in the evenings. I shoulda, woulda, coulda bought GTII in the first day or two. I think that was a great play. Always keep your eyes out for up and coming retail momentum trades. And if you like to gamble on those, I think you have a greater chance of success just biting the bullet, swallowing your fear, and getting in on the first day, even though you don't know really what it's going to do. If you got in this play in these first couple days, I for sure would have been out at the $9 range, especially when I saw a big daily red candle. Now, what is it going to do? I'm looking at the volume down here declining, and it's having, obviously it dropped back down to $1.90 or whatever, and then rallied right back up the next day. But the risk at this point for me outweighs any of the bubble prices that people are telling you on YouTube. So I have no interest in giving GTII a shot at this point. Does that mean that it won't squeeze? Nope. But for me right now, the risk outweighs any potential rewards. So let's see what it's so hard to verify all the stuff that people are talking about related to GTII. I wish any of them and any of you that are in it the best of luck, but just looking at the candles and the volume, this is playing out like any typical retail run-up, and it's on the way down. Sometimes they get a second bump. Sometimes they do, but too risky for me. I should have got in the first couple days. That would have been the smart play, the least risky play. Snapchat, where's Snapchat? Hanging out at 760 after that big gap down overnight. Their miss on their quarterly earnings. Tesla, hopefully you guys watched my video last night. I have an updated price target for I'd like to buy in Tesla. I probably will only get that, if there is continued market pressure, continued red days in the market. I think I can get in, and I will buy in Tesla between 150 and 180. I know that sounds like crazy talk, but I've been waiting a year to get back into Tesla, and that's what I'm willing to give it a shot at. It could go lower, but Tesla's got a lot of retail momentum behind it, so don't count Tesla out. But as long as we're still in a bear market for another 3, 6, 9, 12 months, I think I can be patient a few more weeks, a few more months on Tesla, and then hold it till the next run up. Musky Doge, what's going on? Audrey in Alaska. Audrey, do you know anything? You got some mining up there in the Canada and Alaska area, don't you? I had a neighbor one time, a single female, and she was dating a dude that he got caught up in that gold bug, and they went all in, him and his buddies, and I guess they bought a rig to go do prospecting up in Alaska. Never really heard how that turned out. I think that relationship didn't last. AMC Machine, thank you. He says, can you see a realistic chance APE reaches $10 and AMC $30 in the next couple of years? All right. So there are a couple paths for AMC and APE to move up, right? There's the catalyst and squeeze path. If everything that has been said in the last 2 years on all of these YouTube channels, Twitter, and Reddit is correct, that's one path. Unfortunately, after, exhaustive research, all I can say is we have theories, but we don't have a lot of hard evidence. So I'm in the speculative play because I think there's a chance that some of that could happen. Absolutely.
Can you see a realistic chance APE reaches $10 and AMC $30 in the next couple of years? Thanks, bro.
Thanks, bro. So yes, I'm in the speculative play for the chance that happens. But if that doesn't happen, then it's going to be a longer game. And I talked about that a little bit on last night's video. AMC is dependent on Hollywood and putting out a good slate of blockbuster movies. We need back-to-back Maverick Top Guns. We don't need all this nonsense that they're putting out. Forgive me, guys, but all of these woke movies that are not bringing people to the box office, while it may make the director and the studio feel good, and I like that, feel good, do something good for humanity. It's not good for AMC, not good for Regal, it's not good for Cinemark. You got companies going bankrupt over here, bankrupt over there. Hollywood has to deliver. And there is a good slate of movies coming up for 2023, but I'm hoping that capitalism takes a seat in Hollywood and they realize we can't just keep on putting movies out that we're going broke on. Why don't we pay attention to what's working and do some more of that? And I don't mean make Ghostbusters for the third time. Where's all the originality? Do I need to go back to Hollywood? Come on. Where's the originality? But if we get a good slate of movies, that is the first thing that has to happen. We need to have no pandemic, round 3. And if those things happen, AMC gets into a position where they're not losing money every quarter. Around that time, 2024-ish, maybe Hycroft yields some interesting finds. There's a lot of moving parts that make this still a very exciting play. Nate says, are we going to see Yellowstone in the theaters next Saturday? So Nate, I just told her about that last night and she was super excited, but we made a commitment to meet some friends. Something I haven't done since college days. And we're going to something called the Renaissance Fair, which is, I guess, about 90 minutes south of Austin. Some of you may be familiar with this. Some of you may have something like it in your area, but I think this might be literally the biggest one in the country. It's open for, I don't know. I'm thinking it's open like 6 months out of the year, but it's a multi-acre site where you can even spend the weekend. And it's like going back to old England in the Renaissance days. People dress up in costume. There's performances. There's beer. I'm sure there's shenanigans going on in the tents over there in the background. You know how those things get. But I guess that is on that day. So that's going to be our entire day and evening on the 29th. So unfortunately, we are going to miss Yellowstone in the theaters. Eric, I am not in INTS. Nope. Did it open yet? Last time I looked, it hadn't opened. I still don't see any trading on it. Andrew says they have a live chess game at the Renaissance Fair. Keith says more about selling your product and sales. Selling yourself more than the product, yes. Can you imagine me selling a car? I'm too honest, sir. This car is too expensive for you. I'd be the worst salesman ever. Fucking facts and logic. But if an engineer came in to buy a car, boy, I'd have him buying the cream of the lot, the best car on the lot, because I'm going to give him all the data and facts and statistics that he wants to know. Manuel says, get yourself a big blousey shirt with poofy sleeves. Yeah, I guess I don't know what I'm going to wear. It's getting cold here, actually. Getting cold in Texas. But it will be mostly daytime, and I don't want to go there wearing, normal clothes. I'm going to have to figure something out. All right, let's talk about the contest. It's 2:33. Hey Siri, what is the temperature? What's the low temperature tonight? $64. Yeah, that's cold. I walk outside and I'm like, damn, where's my coat? Yeah, it's in the 60s at night right now, Arthur. I mean, in the winter, which is like from December to January here, we have very short winters. In the winter, it will get down below freezing for a couple days. And we get snow here in Austin maybe once every 7 years. Normally, it'll be melted by lunchtime. All right, so here's what I'm thinking about the contest. I want you guys to give me your best guess of what the... let me say it all first before you start typing in your answer. You have 30 minutes to think about it. As long as you get in one answer, you get one chance. But between now and the market close, let me move this window. Move tab to another window. All right. The guess is going to be, if you go to Box Office Mojo, I want your best guess for Black Adam for the 3-day weekend for this weekend coming up. So just to show you the number I'm going to be looking at, let's open up the weekend domestic. This is domestic weekend gross for Black Adam. We're going to look at last weekend for Halloween Ends. It said 40,050,355. So that's the 3 days, October 14th, 15th, 16th. On Monday, this coming Monday, I'm going to look at Black Adam 3-day weekend for the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. So you got 30 minutes to do your research, see what you think it's going to be, and put in your guess in millions of dollars, down to the single dollar if you want. Whoever gets the closest without going over will win the popcorn bucket. There can only be one winner. So if someone types in the exact same number, whoever I see it from first when I do the replay, and I probably, let me turn on the save the chat replay so we don't miss anybody. Stream settings. AYP says, do I think Hycroft is going to run in the next few weeks? I do not. But I think in the long term, as a speculative play, it is an interesting play. I see no evidence unless they have something in their back pocket. KYP. If they got something in their back pocket, right? And hey, I don't know what secrets announcements they have, but I do know what they've said. What they've said is they have a exploration plan that is going all the way through 2023. That's from the CEO's mouth. I have Adam Aaron saying he's looking at it as a 2 to 7 year investment. Why would anyone think it's going to pop tomorrow or next week? Because of an NFT? That makes no sense. I go by corporate communications. I don't try and make up theories. But when I do my Hycroft video, I'll lay all of this out to you in a reasoned and logical manner, including everything that anyone's published and said, and compare it to other similar projects and how long they took to get up and running. And is there potential if they find some good strikes in these other core samples that they're doing that Hycroft could be a runner? Absolutely. In a couple years. Hustler 69, what's going on? So for me, I'm buying Hycroft as it gets cheap. I'm not ignoring the risk of a reverse split. If they stay under $1, I sure hope they don't. But we got 6 to 12 months to worry about that. I'm not going all in on Hycroft in case it keeps going down. I'm saving to buy some cheaper and cheaper. The quickest way to make $1 million on a gold mining stock is to start with $2 million. But if you buy in cheap enough, and then you're patient enough to stay in the play, and they find something worthwhile, then you can make some money. So my goal is to buy it as cheap as possible. To be patient, a lot of people are going to get washed out. People that bought it at $2 or $3, they're going to be stuck holding that maybe for years. Meanwhile, I'm buying it for 60 cents, 50, maybe 25. Knowing that it's very risky, knowing that it might never pay off, but at least I didn't pay too much. That's how I like to do my speculative plays. All right, to recap on, and that I'm not bearish on Hycroft, guys. I'm just being real. It's a speculative play. We are literally waiting on them to complete their exploration program and come out with some good news. And that is planned to go all the way through 2023. So I'm a good, patient person, not trying to hype anybody up on Hycroft. But I sure hope I hope it pays off, because I will strike it rich on my Hycroft shares, and it will help AMC. So I'm pulling for him. All right, how do you win the contest? Again, to win the contest, you must guess in the millions of dollars. You can, let me put the chart up one more time. On Monday, I'm going to come back to Box Office Mojo, and I'm going to look at this weekend right now, the one coming up. I'm going to look at the gross ticket sales domestic for the 3-day weekend for Black Adam. And if your guess was the closest without going over down to the dollar, you will be the winner. So you got to guess the 3-day domestic US intake. That's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for Black Adam. And we'll know the winner on Monday. You have 15 more minutes to do your quick research and get your most informed guess in. Oh, here's the headline that I was laughing at. Look at this. It sounds awesome, doesn't it? U.S. budget deficit cut in half for biggest decrease ever. Sounds great, doesn't it? Except that it was also the biggest budget deficit ever. I think even cutting it in half, it's still the biggest budget deficit ever. That means we're spending trillions of more dollars than we're taking in tax revenue. This country, guys, if we don't get some people that are fiscally responsible, and look, even in the Trump administration and the Congress in office then was not fiscally responsible. What, I mean, it can't be any worse than living through inflation. Why don't we just let's get over this inflation and then cut the budget to the point where we're not spending more on crazy projects and let's just send trillions all over the world. Let's build some bridges to nowhere. Let's just, who cares? Your grandkids can pay for it, right? It shouldn't be a problem. Budget deficit cut in half for biggest decrease ever. Oh, what? It's still $1.7 trillion that we're more than we're spending than we have? Shh, it'll be fine. I wish I could run my personal budget that way. My grandkids will pay for it. It's okay. Darren, what's going on? Bone Tomahawk is the film. Paul says, am I the only one still holding SNAP? Oh, man, that was rough, wasn't it, Paul? I was asking my kid, the one at college, I said, what do people use these days? Because, he's going to tell me. And so the up-and-coming app, and I haven't looked to see if... I don't think this is we were texting at 2:40 in the morning. I said, what is the I said, what is the upcoming app? He said this was his text, 3 words. Invest in breast. All right, I'm sold. Tell me more. Tell me more, kiddo. I said, what? Invest in breasts? I mean, Scarlett's she's pretty okay in that department. What do you mean invest in breast? I was asking you about a social media app. He said, oh, sorry, I was a little drunk. Sophomore college life at 2:40 in the morning. He said, I meant invest in Be Real. Be Real is the name of the app that the kids in college are using these days, the up and coming one. So we need to investigate that one and figure out who's behind it. 10 minutes to go on the contest. Again, if you're just joining us, we're giving away the collectible unused. I saw people selling them already on eBay for $70, guys. You can keep it or you can sell it, but it's the collectible light up Black Adam popcorn bucket. I'm going to have one right back there once I get mine, and I'm going to give you guys one. You have to guess the 3-day box office gross for Black Adam this weekend. And we will look on Monday on Box Office Mojo to see what this number is for Black Adam. Domestic weekend gross receipts. Get your guess in. You get one guess. You must be in the United States. Mike says, picked up my first Stetson hat. What did you get, Mike? Felt? Straw? White or black? Or did you go with a different color? Muskie says, what if they sell out the buckets? I already pre-ordered them, Muskie. I ordered them. You can buy merchandise on AMC's website, not through the app, but through the website. So the day that first day, a week or 10 days ago, that I knew that they were available, I ordered a couple. So they're being shipped to me. I did not see Bigham's video last night, Griffin. I had a bad headache last night. And to be fair, I was on a multi-hour voice chat on Discord with some other fellow investors. When I'm not on camera, I'm usually in the Discord. No, I'm not going to tell you how to get into the Discord. I'm not pushing a Discord. But we have quite often discussions about stocks and everything. And we were going through a bunch of different scenarios last night. We did a little job counseling. We talked about a new business that one of the gentlemen is starting. I'm happy to give advice on stuff like that. That's not financial advice, right? Mike says, I went with the straw hat for now. Looks like it will keep me cool here in Florida. Way to go, my man. Yeah, you can get away with that in Florida. In Texas, you know, we kind of have the rules in the winter. Technically, you're supposed to only wear the black hat. The straw hat is for summer. Not everybody abides by that. And no one's going to call you out, except maybe your best friend. Oh, what are you doing wearing a straw hat in December? But out on the street, nobody's going to say anything. Damien says, try Dyke again. That's what I told a lesbian yesterday. Well, I had run out of aspirin and Tylenol and etc. and everything. I was so desperate yesterday that I took a Alka-Seltzer Plus because it had 325 milligrams of aspirin in it. And Scarlett was coming back. She was doing a full day trial at her new job. It was the precursor to the job offer she got today. I said, can you please pick up some pain medication on the way home? So she took care of me. She brought back home a boatload. Sammy boy, thoughts on Phantom? Hey, Sammy, I'm not loading up on a lot of cryptos till I see. I'm still dollar cost averaging on a couple, but I'm not going to sit out the downturn in crypto like I did years ago. I'm adding in a fixed dollar amount into my crypto portfolio every week. But I don't want to lie to you. There's still a major risk of further collapse of the crypto market. So I'm hesitant to talk about crypto a lot because I don't want people buying in on what I talk about. And then, you know, Bitcoin drops from 19,000 to 10. Everything's going to go down with it. So I'll tell you what I'm doing with my own is a fixed dollar amount into certain cryptos. I have my eye on a couple of charts and I'm looking for a good one, and I want to start swing trading some crypto, but I need to find a good chart. Jeffrey says, should have drank a cup of coffee. I had a Bang Energy, Jeffrey, that I was sipping on. Musky Doge says, I had a Viagra once. It got stuck in my throat. Had a stiff neck for days. Woo! Looks like APE is going to close up around 11%. AMC up 2.5%. Last chance, guys, to get in your vote. You got 3 minutes. The 3-day weekend gross for U.S. domestic for Black Adam. Give me your guess for what the number is going to show on Box Office Mojo for this 3 days. You get one vote. Must be in continental. Must be in the U.S. Do I think the big banks are failing? I think some of them that have investment arms definitely have some risk of failing, yes. Where do I hold my crypto? On my own wallet now, Maria, because I don't trust these. I don't trust these exchanges. I keep a little bit, you know, liquid for immediate trades, but the bulk of it is kept in a Ledger Nano. APE closed up 10.5%. AMC, it closed up 2.28%. GameStop closed up 3.5%. A good time was had by all. And let's look at a couple of others of interest. GTII, I guess INTS never traded today. GTII down 6%. It's not quite, these Webull quotes are delayed 15 minutes, so. I am not in GTII. I'm not pushing it. I'm not recommending it. If it was my money, I would have already been out of this play. But if you're in it, I wish you good luck. Tesla up 3%. MTLPP, that's another one that people are interested in. Go to my retail. Oh, I heard Revlon is getting delisted, by the way. If only someone would have told us the risk, Tony. I've been watching YouTube channels that say Revlon's going to be fine. Tony, they told me, Tony, don't worry about that, Chapter 11, Tony. If you just look at this 2 other companies that came out of Chapter 11, Tony, they told me because of Hertz, I'd be fine. Now I lost all my money. Whew, you got to get out of these things when they're running up, guys. Don't freaking bag hold them because of some YouTuber. $19 back in January 2021. But here lately in 2022, you could have got out at $10.46. What a blessing, especially if you bought it for $1. It was a fine trade for a while, but I don't know. I just don't know why anyone would still be making videos saying you're going to be fine. Read the tea leaves, read the filings. Get in, get out, play retail, play these pump and dump YouTube channels. Play them, but don't listen to them. Listen up, but don't listen. Listen up and see what they're pumping. Take advantage of their inexperience, their lack of knowledge, their over-enthusiasm. Get in and get out. Make your money. First base run, second base hit. If they get a home run, bless them. But more than likely, you know, they're all going to be broke in a year because they have unrealistic expectations. Rumble down. It was green on the day, but it's fallen from 17 bucks down to 7.28. You know, you can't even, I've complained about Rumble as a user, as a content creator. I can't get a dedicated stream key, so I got to generate a new stream key every day, which is a pain in the ass. I can't, if someone's being rude, you know, I got a racist person stalking me on Rumble, trying to put comments on all my videos, you know, denigrating religion or race. I can't block them. I got to go in and delete the comment every time. It's just Rumble's still, it's a diamond in the rough. And on top of that, I have to pay them to host my videos. Come on, Rumble. Do I have any XRP? Joey Bags, I did own XRP in 2021 and I sold it because it just wasn't doing much. Nothing against it. I believed in it at the time. I still think it has some potential. I do not think it has the potential that these YouTubers are saying. I think they hear something and then a whole different idea comes out of their head. Oh, Ripple might be being used as the framework for a CBDC. Yeah, it might. But does that mean that the entire CBDC is going to be based on Ripple? Well, I think that's a jump. And as long as you realize it's a speculative play, I have nothing against Ripple at all. But I don't know if I completely buy into what is being pumped out there on it. And I just, you know, I'm happy with what I own now. I am looking for some crypto to swing trade. Maybe that'll be one that I should look at. But I have nothing bad to say about Ripple. Thoughts on Mullen, Paul? Use this opportunity to take profits if you bought in the 20s. That's my thoughts on Mullen. Just like I said with that little blip on news on Hycroft, this is a moment, if you got in cheap on Mullen, to take advantage of irrational retail investors running the stock up on what I call plausible pumpability news, PPN. It sounds really good, and they run the stock up based on the news, but I would bet you a six-pack that in a week, Mullen's going to be right back down to where it was. They have too much stacked against them, and buying up a competitor that was in bankruptcy, getting their factory and their IP. Like, what is Mullen's goal? To like own everything yet never produce a vehicle? As long as they can keep on pumping out billions of new dilution, I guess they feel like they can waste your money on whatever they want. 1.75 billion shares of dilution under $1, 37 cents now. I want to see a real, I want to see an announcement that Mullen is actually getting into production and volume on something. And even then, it's going to be years, many years for them to ever get into profitability. So I think, if you want to swing trade Mullen on retail fanaticism, that's a great play. But if I bought in at 20-something cents, I definitely would have sold at 40 and counted my blessings. All right. I'll take a few more questions. Please go watch yesterday's video if you haven't seen it. I'm going to keep on working on the Hycroft video. We're going to be seeing Black Adam tonight, spending our hard-earned dollars on some overpriced popcorn, what I call straight to the bottom line popcorn. Buy some concessions, guys. I seriously mean this. If you have an AMC theater, you are actually almost better off spending money on concessions than buying more stock at this point. The bottom line is what needs to get fixed at AMC. You've got plenty of shares. Go entertain yourself. And their hamburgers and pizzas are good. I can testify. We'll be having a tasty beverage and some popcorn. I haven't even eaten yet today, if you can believe that. But I'm saving up so I can have some carbs, some popcorn tonight. Kathy, Ian, what's going on? Lima, how you doing? Luis, right? Lima, uniform, India, Sierra. All right, Jeffrey says they're supposed to be ramping up production for Amazon vans with an announcement coming this week, according to sources inside. Also acquired a huge manufacturing facility in India. I haven't, I read the press release about the competitor that they bought. I haven't seen anything about India. And I wish any EV manufacturer or investor all the success in the world. But I have my doubts about Mullen. If I was buying it, if you're buying it in the 20s, you're pretty safe, I think. 20 cents. What do you got to lose at that point, right? It got down to 21 cents recently. This is just my opinion. Just my opinion. As somebody with a little bit of history in manufacturing and product development, not in the auto industry, that they are a lot of talk and no action. And if you haven't been in that industry, you are underestimating what it takes to get a product into real production. Look at the road littered with failed EV companies. So I want to see a meaningful announcement from them that they are really in production with in volume. And even when we get that, that'll be well received. Look, if I could buy Mullen for 20 cents, I might do that next time it drops. Just for the run up to $1. Hell yeah. Buy it at 20 cents, sell on a retail FOMO run up to $1. That's a good trade. When a good announcement comes out, a real announcement. But even when they have an announcement that they have started up production of vans for Amazon, it's going to be years before they get into profitability. So you got a long road ahead of yourself with Mullen. And you're going to be constantly dealing with additional cash raises needed. And it's going to be a bit of a mess. I'm going to be blunt with you. So if you got in when it was expensive and you just love the company, I would average my position down when it's at 20 cents. And hope, pray to the gods, both old and new, that they don't go bankrupt. I'm going to repeat what I've always said for the last year, and not picking on any one company, but half of the EV companies that you know about right now will not be here in 5 to 7 years. They'll be gone. There'll be a couple winners. We want to pick the ones that are ahead of the game. Ones that are in production. The rest, you should just consider it very speculative. I'm not slamming them. I'm just saying I'm going to be real with you about the risk. The risk is very high on these guys that are not in production at volume. And even, who was the one that just had a recall on all of their vehicles? It wasn't Polestar, wasn't Neo, wasn't Tesla. Help me out, guys. One of the other big ones. Was it Rivian? Yeah. You guys have heard me if you've been watching this channel for a while. One of the biggest risks, the other risk, is the risk of an expensive recall, both to the bottom line and to reputation. And I've dealt with recalls and product failures. It can be debilitating. If it's just something small or not all the vehicles are affected, you can deal with that. They budget for that. But if it is massive or reputation ruining, out of the blue, you're done. Someone said Rivian, someone said Lucid. Yeah, I think it was Rivian. Someone said, what's going on with APE? Why is it pumping? I don't think I haven't been trying to figure that out, right? There's no news. There's a couple theories, right? My theory that I've talked about here for the last few weeks is that at some point after 9/26, it is my belief, you don't have to agree. I already know some other folks on Twitter and YouTube don't agree. That's cool. We all got the same goal, guys. I think that either Adam Aaron was selling in this period from the 26th to the 14th, and I was postulating that if it got low enough, he would stop. Like, all right, we need to let the buying pressure bring it back up. That's one theory. That's my theory. And then there's the other theory that I've heard that he wasn't selling anything. It was just being run down for, I don't know what, shorts, selling pressure. But now he's selling it. And because he's selling, that's making the price go up. Like, I got to really step out of the box of logic for that to make sense in my brain. I could see a roundabout way, like if you believe that creating extra liquidity in shares somehow makes the price go up. Hey, we're going to find out in a couple weeks, guys, whatever it is. There could also be pre-quarterly run up, which doesn't make sense to me. I kind of like cast that theory aside because I don't expect Q3 to be overly fantastic, or there could be some rumors of something going on that we just haven't heard yet. Or it could just be like I also said, at some point This is going to reach a point of such low cost that big money is going to come back in like they do on any stock when it gets oversold. Like, this is a bargain. We scared everybody out of it, and now we're going to accumulate. Like, this is the fucking tricks that they do on every stock. Pump out negativity. Dun, 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 dun. Scare retail out. Buy it up cheap. Get you back in. I'm just talking general stocks, guys, right? This is what they do. You're the liquidity source. They drive it down with negative articles, get you to sell. Then they start accumulating. They accumulate a bunch when it's cheap. The price starts moving up. Let's just say we're talking about Tesla. And then retail really gets on board and it really starts chugging up. And those big institutional investors that got in cheap, they start selling into that and taking the profits because they got the engine moving. They got the algo moving, and they sell into that run up, and they get theirs, and they're done. All right, turn on the negative press releases again. We need to take it back down. Short it too. And then they make money scaring you back out of the play. Every fucking stock, they do this. The distribution accumulation cycle. But, that's just reality talk of what happens everywhere in the stock market. In my heart of hearts, I want to believe that there's something hidden here. And, this thing's going to run back up to, I don't know. What have I been saying? I think that APE and AMC are going to reach price point parity. I would love to see APE go up to $6.49. Or AMC, might come down to $6 and we run up to $5.80. I don't know. That is what I think, given enough time, is going to happen. Who's they, Tony? They don't want the price of APE very high because it gives Adam Aron a lot of opportunity to ring the cash register on those shares. So the shorts, have been pounding the negativity drum. And I have been around enough years to know this game, and I have been buying it. The cheaper it got, the more I bought. So I'm ecstatic right now, and I just am hopeful. Whatever is behind this, I'm hoping that it continues. I'm hoping that we don't get some major market bear news, but I always allow for that possibility. Market news, interest rates, nuclear war, whatever, right? We need a series of good news weeks, and you'll see all of these stocks come up. I've never been a fan of the take the market down to make our stocks rise. Just the reality of how I know the stock market works, that theory doesn't make sense to me. I'm still friends with people that have that theory. They're entitled to their theories. I'm not going to call anyone out for their theory. That's your opinion. We all have different theories. We all have the same goal at the end of the day. Whichever one works, I really don't care. I'm just sharing my thoughts. I'd hate to see America get decimated by a stock market crash, but hey, there's a very real risk that one's coming. And I'm scared that will take our stocks down, all of them, even more. So I'd like to see a few weeks of good news, and I feel confident in saying that when we have good news and money feels free to come back in the market, you're going to see all of your stocks go up. All of them. And the ones that got oversold, like ours, will go up faster because they're oversold. What do I think will happen to the stock market if a nuclear war starts? Keygen, I think there'll be a very rapid sell-off in 5 minutes. And then it will continue for days while people figure out is this going to escalate? And then if they realize, okay, this was isolated, it's not going to
proliferate. Have another drink, Tony. No, I haven't had a drink yet. If they realize it's not going to proliferate globally, then the market will come back up. So if there is a nuclear war and if the market falls 40%, and if you're still alive and the markets are open, I'm going to be buying the dip. It's like I did when the stuff happened. If we're wrong and it, you know, some get lobbed over our way, hey, does it matter at that point? Just YOLO everything into the stock market if you see a 40% drop because of a bomb in the Ukraine. When that sick market crash happens. Remember on Billions? When the redheaded, what was his name? The character, he YOLO'd everything after 9/11. Yeah. You're going to Axelrod, what the fuck is his name? I would YOLO everything. Yes, you're making money off of other people's pain. Well, I'm just playing the stock market, guys. Jana Hanzo, what is up? Weekend plans, Stephen. We are going to see Black Adam this evening at 8 p.m. Scarlett, myself, and my son. And we're celebrating her new job and her raise. Maybe I'll take her out to a nice dinner this weekend. Other than that, I don't think we have any firm plans. I'll be doing some work. I'm trying to finish up my Hycroft video. Bobby Axelrod, thank you, Benedict. Tony R says, did I catch Rico and Trading with Emotions video? I did not. I'll tell you what, I don't watch too many other channels, guys. There's just, I want to support everybody in this community that is doing the work, keeping you guys involved. I don't want to talk negative about anybody. This is not a drama channel. There's plenty of that going around. So I don't watch too many other people because I don't want to, I don't want to have to answer questions about what they're saying. You know who the legit people are and who the clickbaiters are. You should by now, if you've been paying attention to this channel. But I did watch Al from Boston video with the dude from Virtu, Doug Sifu. And I was laughing to the guys on my Discord. I said, man, if that exact interview, if I did that interview, they would be calling me out on Twitter and Reddit as a paid shill. Like, there were zero. I thought it was an excellent interview. I thought the answers were exactly what I would expect Doug Sifu to say. He described the role of a legally operating market maker perfectly. Everything he said was spot on. As long as you're operating within the law and not colluding with somebody on WhatsApp. You should go watch it. If you want to know the right way of how things are supposed to work and the right attitude, the cavalier attitude, I don't care if we're long or short. I don't care if we have FTDs. I don't even know. I don't even, what, you know, that's the right attitude. And that is how it should work for a market maker. But I'll tell you what I was surprised about, Al. You've been making videos for a year talking about $1 million a share, tens of billions of synthetics, market makers and hedge funds being corrupt. And not one hard question was asked. Not one follow-up question was asked. You let the guy have a fucking walk in the park. And that's okay. I mean, it was a respectful interview. The questions that were asked were good. The answers that were provided were good. But I kind of expected more, considering the content coming out of that channel out of his channel, beating that synthetics drum, this corruption drum every day with these clickbait videos. I just really surprised that he tossed him a pillow instead of a 1-ton brick. Where was the gotcha moment? Where was the Steve Wallace moment? But, if he didn't have me blocked everywhere, I would have told him, good job. Unfortunately, he's blocked half the community. And that of anything else, says a lot to me. I think, if someone's being hateful to you, causing drama, personally insulting you, you should block them. But if they disagree with your due diligence and can be respectful and a grown-up about it, there is zero reason to block someone for that. And the only people I block are ones that are, they've lost their manhood and have resorted to creating drama. I'll block you and never think about you again. Because you're not worth it. You're not worth anybody's time. But I enjoy having due diligence discussions, especially if we disagree on stuff. That's how we all learn and, renew our conviction or change our conviction or expand our thinking. So with that being said, to all the drama girls, just, why can't we all row in the same direction, guys? We all have the same goal. Whether it's AMC, GameStop, a momentum trade, GTII, you guys, everyone just wants to make money. No one should be ostracized because they like one stock. I like hundreds of stocks. I have a broad portfolio. I think you should all have a risk-balanced portfolio. No one should be ever called a name or have drama created about them because they're playing multiple plays. That is just, you're a mental infant if you're doing that to people. You like a stock, you buy a stock. You want to diversify your risk, you buy other stocks. That is real, that's common sense. That is investing 101. And if you don't like the stock that I don't like, I'm not going to dedicate my channel to calling you names. Again, a mental idiot if you're doing that. So I'm going to keep on buying all of the stocks that I like. I'll talk to you guys about it. I'm telling you what I'm doing. I'm not pushing any stock on anyone. All of these plays, the AMC and GameStop, everyone had bought in long before I came along. I didn't convince anyone to buy anything. I was holding right along with you guys, just watching Trey and Matt. In fact, as you guys know, I'm here live streaming because I got tired of the nonsensical clickbait and the fantasy price targets. And I made a shit ton of money on call options. But them telling people to hold and me seeing the damage that they did to people really kind of pissed me off. And the fact that they would never engage with me in comments unless you super chatted them. Never answered one single comment in videos. Yeah, Tammy, I'm not going to comment on that because unfortunately he's one of the drama starters. He has nothing better to do in his life than start drama with other people. And he's not positively contributing to this movement, so I had to block him. So the long wrap up to my little rant and story there is I want you guys to focus on, just ask yourself one question. Is the person that you're dealing with pulling in the same direction as you? Do they have the same end goal as you? If they do, then it's okay to have different ways of getting there. You might not agree with it, right? I don't agree with a lot of people on Twitter, but I still have civil discourse with them. I still participate or listen in on their space calls. Doesn't mean I agree with what they're saying, but I feel like they have the same end goal as me. Maybe through the course of human conversation, I can, not on a space call. No one's going to convince anything to anyone on a space call, but maybe through the time and logic, I can share some of my thoughts with them. And if not, eventually, if we all have the same goal and our overall conviction is correct on whatever stock, we will make money. And then I will never need to talk with these people ever again. Trish says, I'm so serious. Now we're just winding down a power-packed hour, Trish, with some real talk. Because I know there's a lot of people that have lost their emotional and mental minds in these past 30 days. And I feel sorry for them. I really do. I feel sorry for them. I can imagine them pacing back and forth in a room, beating their head against the wall because they're so upset. They can't understand why stocks are going down. And their only recourse, because they don't know what to do, is to lash out against other people. And I've been saying for a long time, when the stock market goes down, your stocks are going to go down. That's just common sense. That's how markets work. And they get very angry at me for saying that because I'm right. And they've been saying it's going to go up. And they don't like being wrong. I mean, these are megalomaniac narcissists. So, it is what it is. Be good to one another is the message. Try treating people like humans. If we're all pulling in the same direction, we can be a team. $255 Placid, better to buy AMC or APE. I can't tell you what to do. I can tell you that I have been buying APE because I believe in the arbitrage thesis. I was talking about it before Jim Chanos was. The cheaper APE got, the more of it I bought. Jennifer says, worried about crime where I live in Philly. Hey, there's a lot of big cities, Jennifer, where I worry about you guys too. Dustin, I'm not down. We're just kind of winding down with a little gentle talk. Trying to talk some people off the wall. There's a lot of people going crazy in this stock world. Had a lot of Discord conversations with people that are feeling the pain of their portfolio being down. I see all the drama going on YouTube and Twitter, and I feel sad, really, for people, for what they're going through, and that their only way to make themselves feel better is to lash out against everybody else, even if we're teammates. So we're easing into the soothing voice, the calming. I feel bad, that these people will never be able to engage with me again, because once you cross the line with me, you're done. As my channel continues to grow and yours goes away to nothing, you missed your chance because you got emotional. Do I think Black Adam will make $1 billion this week? I do not, number letters. I think it'll do fine, but I don't think it'll make $1 billion. Dustin says, we need to spread this message. Step away for a while. I was going crazy listening to all the BS. Yes, I've been saying that same thing. Dustin, if you're feeling bad, it's okay. Step away, set some alerts, go do something productive with your time. It's bear markets are rough on everybody. We're going to lose more people along the way. We are. That's a fact. I'm not talking any particular stock. I'm just saying the more things go down, you're going to have people that finally reach a breaking point and they can't mentally take it anymore. They're going to sell everything at a 90% loss. And about the time that everyone is feeling that way, that's when it's going to come back up because you've reached the bottom. So for me, you know, I've learned through many decades of experience to buy into weakness and be patient and be okay with it. I don't trust Tony because he's so calm when the market's failing. Yeah, he's been telling you this was going to happen for a year too, and how to get ready for it. When you expect something, it's easy to be calm. Exactly what I thought was going to happen is happening. The market's going down and everything with it. I'm not upset because I knew AMC and APE were not going to run as the market crashes. That just, in my logical brain, that made no sense. Now, at some breaking point, if some institution or hedge fund snaps and had a levered up position, could get spicy. But in general, you got to expect, guys, when the market's going down, everything's going to go down. That's just how it works. In a short squeeze play, anything could pop at a moment's notice, but you shouldn't count on that. And you should be willing to let the process work itself out. Don't get emotional. Don't drive yourself crazy. Overboard Entertainment, thank you for the good wishes. We are doing great. If you're just joining in, Scarlett is going to day shift. It's official this afternoon as of about 2 hours ago. New job, $6,000 raise, and day shift. Hallelujah. We are happy. We are so excited. I'm going to take her out to a nice dinner this weekend to celebrate. We're going to see Black Adam tonight with my kiddo. And more importantly, I hope to get back on a shift where I'm not staying up till 3, 4, 6 in the morning so I can be here with you guys making some money on some live streams, day trading some of these retail pump and dump little 2-day up and down stocks. It has been rough this past month when my sleep schedule got fucked up. But she starts back on day shift officially Monday. Trish says, yay, you can make babies now. She would like nothing better, Trish. We're working on it. Maybe there'll be another announcement someday in the future. We taking a couple shots before the Black Adam movie, Miguel. Hey, I like that idea. Who wants to? Anybody got a shot? Maybe we should just do that to celebrate. Get back in the party mood now that we've gotten the calming, you know, bring everybody back to reality talk. And I hope they watch that. I hope some of y'all clip that and tell them to just chill the fuck out, bro. We're all on the same team. Shot glass. We're going to do a little, since you guys brought up Ireland and England, we're going to do a little Bushmills Black Bush. I wonder if, do they have a Bushmills Red Bush? Triple distilled sherry cask. All right. Casey, I hope you get to make it. If I get back at a reasonable hour, I'll come on and let y'all know what I thought. If not, we'll talk about it over the weekend. Doc Zeno, what's up? Dan Man, all right, I'll give you guys a couple more seconds to get your shot. Dan has a side hustle of I don't know if I can say that on camera, Dan. YouTube might put me on the blacklist. All right, guys. Here's to you. What's that saying? Here's to you. Here's to me. Whatever. Fuck you. And I mean that with much love, you know. You know that. To girlfriends and wives, may they never meet. Woo! Maggie, what's going on? It is I. It is I. Let me have a quick sip of water for Maggie. Is that a hoof? Someone said it's a skull. Camera's not focusing very well. This is the small skull. I got the large skull in the kitchen drying off. Anthony G, how am I feeling about Hycroft? I got a video coming out soon, very soon, this weekend about Hycroft. I was waiting for a little bit of feedback from industry experts, geologists, and Hycroft themselves. But, you know, if I don't get all that this weekend, I'm still going to put my video out. I can always do updates. I'm 99% locked in on my due diligence. As I was saying at the beginning of this recording, you know, I'm not just looking at the tea leaves and trying to speculate. I'm actually putting in, I don't know what it's going to end up being, 40 to 80 hours of work, becoming, to the extent that I can, in a relative expert in mining stocks. I'm not going to ever be an expert in mining stocks. I just don't care to get in that segment. But to the extent that I need to be to talk to you guys about Hycroft, I'm putting in the work, and that's what I've been doing this week. So I think Hycroft is a speculative play. As long as you look at it like that and you have a 5-year outlook and you pick it up as cheap as possible, you have a chance of being okay. And I own Hycroft now, have for a few months, and I have a pending good till canceled order at 50 cents whenever it drops. But my timeline is several years. So I'll give all the receipts for everything I'm saying in the upcoming video. And in the meantime, if they ever come out with any news, there'll be a little run up, just like we saw a couple weeks ago, right? And I sold into that run up and I pocketed profit, and then I waited for it to come back down, just like I mentioned on that day that I thought it would. And I bought back in the 60s. So now I'm going to continue to accumulate as it drops, or on any run up, I'll sell my rebought position again. If it's the real run up, the real good news, you're going to see this thing go from 60 cents to $10. It's not going to go from 60 cents to $1. And it's going to happen quick. So I'm going to talk with you about, I mean, I've already explained it, but people get mad at me for using logic. Like, they said it was the highest yielding gold and silver that they've ever found on the property. Yeah, that's true. But we're going to talk about the logic of why it didn't run up to $5 or $10. Everything is very easily explained if you understand and are using data and an understanding of the industry. when it's a good announcement, the people who do this shit every day, the experts will run the price up for you. Maggie says 120 days I'll be delisted, Hycroft. So 180 days, Maggie, right? From the day that they publish the delisting notice. And then they have a chance to file for an extension, I think, for another 180 days. So it's going to be 6 to 12 months for them to come out with some good news, or they will have to do a reverse split. I'm not going to tell you not to worry about that. I watch all these other pump and dump channels. Oh, guys, it's a reverse split. Don't worry about that. Here's an example of one stock that ran up after a reverse split. Never mind the 99 that went right back down after a reverse split. They always want to tell you, don't worry about this because of the one. I'm not going to do that to you. It's a risk, right? Reverse split is a risk, and I don't like them. It's like I don't like dilution. But mining stock plays are multi-year plays, all of them. When it's a company that's in the situation that Hycroft is in, restarting exploration, this is a multi-year play. So you got to have the patience to wait it out and the intelligence to buy it cheap when opportunity presents itself. And then, because it's a speculative play, you cross your fingers and hope that they get that core sample that really sets them off. Doc Zeno says, damn it, Tony Denaro, how many times do you have to be told, stop being so rational? Fuck you and your logic. God. Hate it when he's right. Hate it when he's right. I don't know, guys. I don't know what to tell you. Speaking of reverse split, Soulseeger says, look what happened to AVCT. What do you think of the company's long-term potential? I mean, AVCT was a pump and dump, and the opportunity has already come and gone. I will never say they can never have another life, but there was an opportunity on AVCT if you got in when they started pumping it, and it's already come and gone. You get in at $2, get out at $7.70 in 3 days. Cha-ching. Where's the cash register? That's a good trade, guys. But once you see it coming down, I mean, we see this over and over on these stocks with very flaky news. Once you see them turn and the volume going down, you got to pull the ripcord, hit the fucking sell button. Stop listening to these channels that'll tell you it's going to be okay, it's going to come back, yada, yada, yada. It's one thing to be talking about a GameStop or AMC that are, or even a Bed Bath & Beyond, God bless their hearts, that are big companies with, you know, real businesses. You still got to look at the financials and the landscape with those companies and not ignore it. But these little bitty companies that have been run down from $195 to $1, and then someone's going to tell you this one's going to the moon. No, it's fucked. But you can still play the retail pump and dump. Just be the first to get out. Good Lord. I mean, if I wanted to roast some people, there are channels full of daily incorrect information on these stocks and literally telling people to ignore filings. Guys, don't worry about it, guys. I'm still bullish. Guys, yes, some warrants and 1 billion new shares were announced, guys. This is bullish in my view. Guys, the Chapter 11, look, I want to tell you about a company that made it out of Chapter 11, guys. This is bullish. Chapter 11 is what we've been waiting for, guys. I'm going all in. Some of these people need to be arrested, honestly. And they never get held accountable. Thank you for the great due diligence. This was the hopium I needed. I love your channel. Spot on. Oh, it's a reverse split and a dilution. The hedgies are worried now. Lordy. So yeah, getting back to Hycroft, if there's a reverse split, I'm going to tell you, they're rarely bullish. They're almost always not a good sign. What Hycroft needs to have, whatever happens is going to happen, right? But what Hycroft needs is to stay they're not going to be profitable. They need to have enough cash in the bank. Whatever happens with the stock, what I want you to watch on Hycroft is, do they have cash on their balance sheet and are they burning through it? That's all I want you to worry about. Everything else, yeah, you need to, if they're getting delisted, you don't fucking ignore that. But through 2023, they have a drilling program. They got plenty of money in the bank. 180, 190 million bucks. Thanks to Eric Sprott, AMC, and retail. They got plenty of money in the bank to do their exploration program through the end of 2023. Probably well past that if they needed to. And so what you are speculating on, what you're gambling on, is that they find something. There is no guarantees in a mining company. So we hope, if you're investing in it, you hope that they come up with something good. Obviously, Eric Sprott and Adam Aaron had enough of some good feels to put some money on the line. And they both are long-term investors. They're not planning on something in 30 days. They've communicated explicitly the opposite, that it's a long-term investment. And that's how I'm viewing it. I'm viewing it the way that management is telling me. Long-term play. We have high hopes. There's no guarantees. The risk disclosures are in the annual report and the 10Q. You should read them. And that is the mining business, guys. The mining business is full of risk. And a lot of companies don't make it. But I hope, for my sake as a very small Hycroft investor, and for your sakes if you're in it, and for AMC's sake, that they come up with something good. I truly, truly do. And I think, buying in at these prices, if they find what they're thinking they're going to find, you're going to be just fine. If they don't, you're going to zero. So that's your choices. You're going to be rich in a few years, or you're going to zero. I cannot tell you, because nobody knows their core sample results except them until they publish them. And we got a year to go. Do I know how much Adam Aaron paid per Hycroft share? Six Sun, yeah, that was disclosed. I think it was around, don't hold me to this, around $1.25 a share, $1.10, something like that. So, Dan Man, the giveaway vote is closed. And we'll do the announcement on Monday who won. The mime business is also risky. $1.17. Thank you, Jeffrey. When are we playing bingo again, Yuka? I don't know. I should see if Alex and Scarlett are up for maybe a three-way bingo this weekend. Doc Zeno, we will, after, if there is a squeeze on this stock to a reasonable level, I'll do some giveaways on the chair, the legendary chair. I have the chair right here next to me, Doc. Scarlett has to sit on it now when we do the dual live streams. Yeah, Paul says, speaking of dilution, Mullen has 900 million. Paul, I thought it was 1.75 billion. They have a shelf offering, I thought, for 1.75 billion shares. And then they announced that they were going to sell even more? Like, the fuck? You make Scarlett sit in the torture chair. I do. Where are you going? Yoga? Let me see the yoga pants. Let me see the yoga pants. Just do a slow walk away. Yeah, just walk away slowly. That's all I ask. Woo! You want to come model? No? Love you too.
You want to make them sing? That bag.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Okay. That one.
Annie T says, starting my birthday celebrations early. Cheers. What are we drinking, Annie T? I think I can get one more shot in and still be good to drive to the movie at 8 p.m. Be back by 7. All right. How old am I, Dan? 107, Dan. 107. Still feeling good. It's the whiskey. All right. Doc Zeno drinking the spiced rum. Is it Captain Morgan or the other off-brand? Doc Zeno. Happy birthday to Annie T and to any of you that have October birthdays. Let's just celebrate each and every one of you, but especially Annie. Happy birthday. Screw the hedgies. Whiskey X is a preservative. Yes, exactly. Oh, what is the plan on AVCT? Robert is asking. I sold back here at 194. Just kidding. I was just saying, like, you got to realize where they come from. Tebow, shh. You got to realize where they've come from. I mean, clearly this was a pre-reverse split price. But if you're buying a stock that's dropped, 99%, 99.5%, and someone's telling you it's going back up to 100, come on, get a grip. These YouTubers don't know what the fuck they're talking about. But they find plausible pump news. Oh, guys, the short interest is showing yada, 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 yada. This stock that has been run into the gutter. Who is that?
FBI, open up!
Hang on. anyways, play those plays on the first day that they start talking about it. And then get out. All right, sorry about that. Package delivery. How is my knee doing, Dan? Unfortunately, not healed. Scarlett's been bugging me every day. Just go to a yoga class with me. You could stretch out your knee. I'm like, I can't even like pick my heel up onto the bed to put my shoe on. How am I going to do any yoga pose? It's like, seems like a waste of time. Well, just come and stare at the chicks then. All right, well, I could do that. But I'm at the point where I probably need to go to a doctor or have a physical therapist give me some prescribed exercise to heal it. I don't know. You can forget about, if I was doing leg presses, you know, I couldn't, a body weight squat would be painful right now. I could do leg extensions, I could do leg presses, but anything that involves torque and lifting, you know, twisting your knee and lifting your heel up hurts. Not twerk, torque. Rotation. Walking is fine, standing's fine. Bacon, as always, says it's your hips, your ankles. Well, see, the problem was, Bacon, I got knocked over by a 200-pound husky and went sideways over a box. And I fell on my knee, and that was not the problem, I don't think. Like, it wasn't the problem of falling down. It was the fact that I got knocked sideways. I think that little sideways, the box was the height of my knee, and I went over it sideways because the dog was so excited to go outside. He just barreled right past me on my right side, and I went over that way. And I had no pain when I got up, but a couple of hours later, I think I tore my posterior, what is that? The PCL, not the ACL. You got 3 ligaments in your knee. I think I tore the back one. Maybe grade 2. I'm just self-diagnosing over the internet. And yeah, old age doesn't help, right? The older you get, the more brittle your ligaments get. That's why I firmly believe in exercising, lifting heavy weights, you know, barbell squats, deadlift, bench press, overhead press. That's my routine. But I can't. I mean, I could do upper body stuff right now, but squats, no. Even deadlift, no. I don't think it's a torn ACL because I can walk just fine. But as I was describing it, imagine just standing here. You're standing here and you're going to lift your foot up and grab your toes. No. Rate the pain, Tony. The higher I lift my leg behind me, it starts going up. 90 degrees, I'm at a 4. If I lift my heel up to my butt, it would be a 9 on pain. And it's been, what, like 3 months now? I might need surgery. I don't know. I mean, they say that if it's a grade 1 or a grade 2, it should heal itself, but I'm not really getting that much better. Take Nugenics. I have a physical therapist, Doc Zeno, a guy that I've hired before when I had some sports related injuries. That he's got a mobile service, so he'll come to the house, and this guy is top notch. I'm thinking about calling him out here. It's either that or I need to go to an orthopedic surgeon and have them give me a diagnosis, but I'm pretty sure I know what it is. I'm the old-fashioned man that does not like going to the doctor. It's all right, just rub a little Robitussin on it. We'll be fine. It'll be fine. It's just a flesh wound. It's just a flesh wound. What did I do, Dan? Again, it was the most simplest of injuries. I can't even believe that I got hurt. But a huge husky in a hurry to go outside and take a piss knocked me over a box that was knee height. As he was walking past me, I went sideways over the box. Is APE the new AMC? Jace, I think that, my position has always been, for my analysis, that APE and AMC will eventually get to price parity due to the arbitrage theory that I've been talking about before APE even got released. It's taking longer than I thought. And I listened to the Jim Chanos clip. Jim, he agrees with me. I've been saying it longer than him. But he says also, just like me, that they are exactly the same financial instrument. They both have the same voting rights. Like it or not, they're both going to show up on the financial statements. And I am thinking about a question that someone asked me, like, well, what about the dilution of APE? Because you're going to have twice as many APE now than AMC. Does that make APE worth half as much? I need to have a moment with an Excel spreadsheet and work out my answer to that. But the diluting APE is still diluting AMC. So I think that at some point, yes, they're going to be at price parity. I might need to adjust my analysis a little bit because there's more APE, right? How does the formula change when you have 50% AMC and 50% APE, and now you've got 1/3 and 2/3? Does that mean APE is going to be worth half of AMC? No, not half, but the math is going to change a little bit. Amputation is quicker, Dan. Oh, man. As someone who enjoys physical activity, exercise, going to the gym, running, dancing with my wife, it would be life, not life ending, but it'd be a trauma. I know people that have lost their legs due to motorcycle accidents. It's a trauma. What will happen to our APE shares when they are done with them in worst case scenario? When they are done with them. So MotoGP, I think, depending on when and if there's a run up and Adam, Aaron, and AMC are able to raise money, they're gonna extend the life of APE as long as they need to get out of debt. That's what I think. So I hear people putting out stories that APE is going to be done in 30 days and they're going to convert it all back. I think you're looking at years of APE unless there's a run up. If he's got 400,000 shares left and it runs up to $50, he might be done with APE because he'll sell into that run up. But I have no idea what he's actually doing. We'll know in a few weeks. We'll get a glimpse. And at some point then, whenever they're done with APE, he might need to issue more, guys. Like if nothing happens in a year or 2 years, if we're just like treading water. I'm just laying out scenarios because I like to think about multiple scenarios. If nothing happens with the stock, he's going to sell more APE because he's got more debt to pay off. Eventually, there'll be a shit ton of them And then, I don't know, what do they do? Let it just languish on the side? Or do they do a reverse split on APE and then bring it back into the fold with AMC? I don't know. There's so many different possible scenarios. I don't like speculating. I tell you what, my ideal scenario is a run up in the price, and he sells enough into that to pay off a good chunk of the debt. That's my ideal scenario. Where we're at in that progression, or in the fulfillment of that scenario, well, the price is not where we need to be. I'll tell you that. PCL, Jeffrey, I think it's the PCL. Gus says, doing squats and deadlift, I get pain in my lower stomach and balls. I would say, Gus, you need to be checked for a hernia. Just being, internet doctor here. You shouldn't have pain in that area from squats and deadlifts. Deadlift is hands down my favorite exercise. Just from working the overall body and just watching the look on people's face when an old, relatively thin dude comes there and does a strict 300-pound pull. I fucking love deadlift. Squats, not my forte. I mean, I do them. I hate them. But I tell you what are we at here? October 21st. All right. I'm gonna make a goal to start doing something, whether it's, I don't know, swim, go sit in the hot tub, do some committed daily stretching exercises. I want to be back in the gym doing something by beginning of November, because I'm losing my muscle tone. I've lost it. I mean, I should be. I'm probably 8% body fat too high. Driving me nuts. Kathy says, would a reverse split mean I need you guys to keep me accountable on that. Embarrass me every day if I didn't go swimming or go do some stretching and light, movement, range of motion. Would a reverse split mean a dilution for AMC? So if they did a reverse split on APE, Kathy, that would reduce the shares. I don't know if it's technically possible because of, one preferred share equals 100 APE units. I don't know if they could do a reverse split. I'm just laying out scenarios. But I mean, if we ever got to the point where there were 2 billion or 3 billion apes, would you really want to bring that home as AMC shares and have 2.4, 3.4 billion AMC? I don't know. I don't know if that would go over very well. I don't know if people would authorize 3 billion AMC shares so that we could convert APE to AMC. Maybe if they said, all right, well, we want 3 billion AMC authorized, and when you vote, we're going to bring APE home as an AMC, and then we promise you we will do a reverse split. I mean, there's so many things in that scenario, like what is the price of AMC on the day we're having this conversation? What is the financial condition of the company on the day we're having this conversation? I don't think these are conversations we're going to be having anytime soon. The Dan man says, no way he did 300 pounds. Not right now, Dan, I could not, because I have not been in the gym recently, but absolutely in the last year or two, 100%. Over 50 years old doing a 300-pound deadlift easily. Multiple reps. My other goal, Dan, was, which I did not achieve, was 20 strict pull-ups. I think I got to 17. I'm not talking no kipping, full dead hang. That's my second favorite exercise, pull-up. My training for pull-ups when I'm in the groove is with a 50 to 75 pound weighted belt doing strict pull-ups. My shoulders don't look like it right now, but I could post some pictures, but I don't want to be like Trey and Astro. I'm not in fighting shape right now, but it's driving me nuts. You got pull up and chin up. Pull up is your back, right? With your hands facing this way. Chin up is more bicep. I focus on pull-ups. Steven says my best overhead press is 165. Forget what my best overhead press is. By the way, if you want to know what program I use, it's called Strong Lifts. Strong Lifts. LIFTS. They have a free app. It's a 5x5 workout focusing on what I just said. Squats, overhead press, deadlift, and bench press. You can be in and out in 30 minutes to an hour. There's not a lot of, there's no machines. There's no lifting a bunch of dumbbells. You can add a few, like if you want to touch up your biceps, you can do some bicep curls, but the bulk of it is full body barbell exercises. So check out the Strong Lifts program. Let's see what my history on overhead press was, Stephen. They have an app where you can check all that shit. How do I see the graph? Progress. All right, so Stephen, I always get at a sticking point on overhead press at around 125, which pisses me off. And I'm talking the strictest of strict barbell overhead press. I'm not talking like popping it up with your legs. I'm talking about you're rock solid just pressing. All the way down and all the way to full extension. But it pisses me off because I see the younger gents in the country western dance hall that like take the little tiny girls and they just like press them up over their head and do the spins up there. Even though I'm in my 50s, I should still be able to do that, damn it. Maybe I need a smaller wife, I don't know. Sorry, Scarlett, but just kidding. Scarlett's damn near as tall as me. They usually, the ones doing that are they're popping up the girls that are like 5'2". No half rep Johnnies, right? We don't fuck around here. We do full reps and we do them strict as fuck. You're not gonna see me on YouTube doing some embarrassing kipping half rep. You're gonna be fucking proud. Not, everything in its time and place, right? But when you're setting a personal record, you want to do it strict. Matt Ojas, strict barbell. I don't know that name. One of the guys, what is that? What's that old dude? He's damn near my age. That I can't think of his name. He's got a shit ton of videos out there on proper way to do bench press, deadlift, barbell press. He's a coach now. I know if you guys are into, and he's not on gear. Can't think of his name. One of y'all know who I'm talking about. He's a very gruff attitude old man. Jay Ingram. Javi, what's going on, brother? Buy a power rack and start next week. Hey, APE Gorilla, you're not gonna fucking believe this, guys. I had a full gym in my garage. Power rack, multiple barbells, all the dumbbells, all the free weights. And then I decided I wanted to incorporate some other things like swimming, and I didn't have a good pull-up station. I didn't have a good dipping station. I love dips too, by the way. And so I had the bright idea, let's just clean out the garage, sell all this shit, get a membership at 24 Hour Fitness. And then what happens right after I sell it? Fucking COVID. Right after I sell that shit. And you know what happened to the price of squat racks and weights? They went through the fucking roof. I probably could have sold them for triple. And I had had that shit for 7-10 years. Just bad timing. And then on top of that, my gym closed. Jim Topani. No, he's not a bodybuilder. He's more of a coach. I bet I could Google on YouTube how to do a squat, and he'll come up. This guy, watching his videos a decade ago, took me to a whole nother level on bench press and overhead press especially. Not that, not that I'm not setting any records on overhead press, but he got me through the sticking points. He's not coming up. Ripito is the name that's finally coming to my brain. Mark Ripito. Rippetoe. Andrew, good night. Thank you. If you guys haven't checked out Mark Ripito, just watch his basic videos on, and you're interested in full body weight, full body barbell exercises. He's got very good breakdowns on the mechanics of exactly how to set yourself and how to line up your joints to lift the maximum weight. I mean, when you're doing a bench press, the difference between holding the bar here, here, or here makes a fuck ton of difference. You got to have your joints lined up to get the full power that your body can provide. Same thing with a squat, a deadlift. You got to pay attention to the small things. Brett says, I'm hearing people say we're going to have ape news over the weekend. I sure hope so, Brett. Sure hope so. Do I have a video on how to use fib levels? No, there's a million of them out there, Brett. Fib is an interesting thing to look at from time to time. It's not something I commonly use. I'm either in stocks for the long term, 5 years, or I'm in them for momentum trades in and out in a few days. I don't really care, to be honest, about Fibonacci levels. I'm not trying to give you guys TA videos on the daily on AMC and GameStop or anything. I'm either in it for the long term or I'm in it for a couple days. I don't care about Fibonacci. They have their place in combination with other technical indicators, but it's just not something that I use on the reg. Leon Alexander, what's up? Steven says, please let AMC end so we can talk about some business. We can still talk about some businesses, Steven. As you guys, well, now you're starting to know. I don't talk about my businesses because there's a bunch of psycho stalkers out there on the internet that want to put your whole personal life on blast for their own gain. And, we know how cyber stalker psychos work. They go do like fake reviews and fake 1-star shit. I was waiting for the first one of those to reveal themselves. Who's the craziest person out there? Now that they're starting to reveal themselves, maybe I'll start talking about businesses more. Now that he's outed himself. It's not that I was ever hiding anything. I just wanted to set up somebody. And boy, did they take the bait. Angelina in North Dakota. Angelina, tell me again, where in North Dakota are you at? Bacon is the way. Oh, I love the name. Thank you. Have a good day at work. Fargo. I lived in Grand Forks, Angelina. I don't know if you knew that. Yeah, Brett, I can tell you most day traders, Brett, are not looking at Fibonacci levels. Day trading, you're looking at moving averages, a 5-minute, a 5-day, a 13-day, maybe a 48-day, sometimes a 50 or 200. But really, you're looking at very, very short-term moving averages. You're looking at the RSI, and you're looking at the candles on a 1-minute and 5-minute chart. That's about all you need. Don't block me, YouTube. All right, what time we got? 4:30? Ooh, this is going on to an epic 3-hour afternoon live stream. We got any after-hours stuff that's popping that you guys want to look at? Code Red for Life says, what kind of movement are we expecting on APE? I'm going to be watching very closely this weekend to see what great theories people have about why it's been running up. I put out a discussion post on Twitter. People want to attack me. How dare you not mention FTDs? Well, I wasn't trying to mention anything. The point of discuss is I want to hear from you. I want to hear your ideas. It's not my job to tell you my ideas. There's a million speculators, a million guesses. I want to hear what my followers, what people that are finding the tweet think, because I want some stuff to think about. Of course, I have my own ideas. But I want to hear what people think over the weekend. It is very encouraging and curious to me that it's been running up for a few days to the extent that it has. I do have certain ideas, and I've seen a couple of good theories. And this is exactly what I expected. If you've been paying attention here for the last few weeks, the last month, I've been buying APE more and more quantity the lower it gets, because I was expecting a bounce and a run up. But I'm not going to put out a chart telling you that it's going to be tomorrow, because this is uncharted territory on APE. Who knows how low it could go? I'm watching the overall market, and even with 2 days of not that great of a market day, today was better than yesterday, but even with that, we've been doing fine for a week. So maybe we found the firm bottom. Maybe Adam Aaron stopped selling APE. Maybe he started selling APE. There's all sorts of crazy theories. Maybe it's the FTDs that were covered on August 24th. Maybe they're finally taking care of them, closing them out. Maybe it's just that there was some shorts day trading this stuff and they keep on getting wrecked. And they try and reestablish a short and they get wrecked again. Guys, there's 100 possible theories. I don't really care as long as it does what I expect it to do. The why, I've been confident about it, and that is not going to change. I don't want to be the speculator guy. I'm not here to create videos and generate 1 million views with crazy theories. That's not what my channel is about. We're going to talk about the things that we know and the things that are logical. And eventually, whatever is happening here, we're going to know the why. Do I have a position in GTII or Finger? I do not, Code Red. I talked about GTII at the beginning of this broadcast and a couple times on the evening broadcast. I said, bluntly, I wish I would have got in it at $1 and I would have sold at $8. And at this point, looking at the price action and the volume declining, I don't care what anybody's saying on YouTube. I don't buy their due diligence. I look at the charts, and it's telling me that it's probably done. I could be wrong. This is just my opinion. G-Man want to know, will APE go back to AMC? I think at some point in the future it will. They'll reconvert. I don't think AMC wants to be managing the expense and the overhead of tracking 2 different tickers, but they were forced into doing some cash raise and getting creative about doing it. And we weren't going to approve it. So they did the nuclear option. They did what they had to do to ensure the company's survival. And at some point, I think they'll bring it all home. We got to vote on it. If you're still a shareholder at that point, you'll have a chance to vote about bringing APE back into AMC. But I think it's probably years away. I haven't looked at the finger chart lately. Let's see. Yeah, I haven't looked at it in a few days. This is to me what I'd call a surprising bounce. 468 back to $7 on very low volume. We're on the daily chart here. Another good play excellent to have gotten this between 60 cents and $2. Your time to get out would have been when it started doing the daily red candles. Especially noting that the volume is going down. I don't have a good explanation on yesterday why it ran up. I have not looked at the short interest on Finger. But, you know, these retail pump and dump type plays, they can have sometimes a little bit of a second life that surprise me. I tend to be very critical of these. And if I was in it, I would like to get in the first few days and get out when it's peaking and then not worry about it. I'm not trying to buy these to go to $100. If you can get in for $1 and sell at $9 in a week, you fucking knocked it out of the park. Yeah, G-Man, the way that the APE documentation was written, okay, they cannot convert it back to AMC right now because there's no available shares of AMC, right? So let's just say there's 1 billion apes in 6 months that have been issued into the free float, total of 1 billion. At some point, if they want to bring it back, they're going to need to ask all these shareholders, APE and AMC, to have a vote to issue 1 billion new AMC shares for the purpose of bringing APE back into AMC. The minute that vote is approved, they will automatically convert. That's the way it's written. It says upon approval of the vote, APE will immediately be converted to AMC and APE will no longer exist. So now instead of having 413 million AMC and a billion APE, you'll have 1.4 billion AMC. That's how the documents are written. But we have to vote on it to approve new AMC shares. If you approve that, it's done. It's not board approval. Shareholders get to vote. And there's a lot of ways that could happen, right? We could not approve it, and then APE just languishes as a separate ticker. But really, what's the point? What's the point of having two tickers? It is kind of interesting that, you know, half the value of the company is in a preferred stock that they don't have options on. I kind of like that. Kind of like that, right? But that didn't stop them from running it down to $1.50. So, I don't know. I just think about simplicity of management. I would not want to be managing two symbols. It's more accounting. It's more fees. It's more headaches. It's confusing to investors. At some point, I think if they right the ship, get the debt paid off, they will want to bring it home. Yeah, Angelina, I agree. Think of the accountants and the finance people and the filings and the reporting. That's a lot of extra expense to manage all this shit times 2. I mean, there's companies that do it, but there's companies that have preferred shares and multiple different series of common shares, but why? You know, we don't really need it. They had to do it because they needed cash. I'm thinking if I'm in the executive suite and I'm looking at potential another or inflationary, recessionary 2023, I want to get the possibility of a cash raise on the table early and give myself runway, because you don't want to be trying to raise cash when you've only got 200 million left in the bank. Now, as much as I hate it, the smart play was probably getting the paperwork filed now. I would have preferred they wait till after Q4 and get some good numbers in. But hey, we're going to know more in a few weeks. Who knows if they sold any or not? We'll know in a few weeks. Steve said, if that's true, wouldn't we know if synthetics were created, since only 516 million shares would be allowed to transfer over? I mean, synthetics are all exist in the DTCC, Steve. When you do a stock split, if there are shorted, naked shorted, FTDs, synthetics, pick your term, all of those split. I mean, I was hopeful that it would expose something like a fear of APE being a preferred share, but obviously that didn't happen. So I'm over it now. But for the most part, like we saw with GameStop, doing a stock split or a stock split dividend did not expose jack shit. So I'm done having that conversation. I do know that when a stock split happens, the synthetics or naked shorts or shorts legal, all of that just splits. Like, it doesn't affect anybody. It's just a button press and everything splits. The interesting theory was that there was only a limited amount of preferred shares, but you know, the more I dug into it, depending on how the agreement was written up and depending on what the lender demanded, if the lender was just only cared about the money, they could say, don't worry about getting us APE shares, just buy us some more AMC. You owe us $2 million. We just want $2 million back. Who knows, right? We're not in the back rooms privy to what kind of agreements are being made out. I don't like making simplistic arguments. They must return, if they borrowed $1 million APE, they must return $1 million APE. How do you know? Have you been in the back room between a lender and a short seller? Have you seen the documents that they sign? I think they just care about the money. And if I had a dollar for every time a YouTuber on any ticker in existence made a video saying the shorts are fucked because of a split, I'd be a fucking millionaire. Just on that theory. I see it every day on every pump and dump play. MMTLP being another one. Oh, they're about to go private. This is gonna go parabolic. Nope. Did you know that shorts don't need to cover by buying shares when a company goes private? This is just more horse hockey. How do I know that? Because I'm a famous paid short shill? No, because I asked somebody who is a famous short, and he said, of course not. They don't need to cover just because a company's going private. The lender just wants their money. There's not going to be any mad rush for shorts to cover on MMTLP. Just my opinion, not financial advice. Do your own due diligence. I'm just one lonely voice in the wind trying to tell you something from a non-emotional, non-hype point of view. You can still make money on MMTLP off of the people that think all that shit's going to happen. Retail against retail is what that play is. It's the hopeful against the ones that are willing to sell out quickest. Do I think AMC will have a squeeze? I mean, I'm still in the play, Jesus. it is a speculative play. That's why it's not my only investment. If I did not think there was a chance for a run-up, I'm still okay with giving them a few more quarters to see what progress they make towards righting the ship, moving towards a profitable quarter. We're gonna need to get into 2023 and see how people go to movies, and can more gross revenue be captured, or some competitors going to fall by the wayside because of bankruptcies? What's going to happen with popcorn? What's going to happen with a co-branded credit card? What's going to happen with Hycroft? There's so many moving pieces that make this an interesting play. If you are a gambler, it's still speculative, right? But I like some of those plays. People hate me for that. I'm not telling anyone to buy, hold, or sell. Just telling you, I like some percentage of my portfolio to have an outsized chance for an outsized return. You can hate me all you want for that. I would never recommend that as your only play. But I wasn't around making videos January to July of 2021 telling people load the boat on this. That was not me. I certainly was not loading the boat, making that my only play. Absolutely not. That's not my style. I bought some, and I bought some call options too. And the call options fucking paid bank, because I was not dumb enough to listen. Sorry, I'm not throwing any of you under the bus, but I'm throwing the YouTubers under the bus. The ones that were buying call options as it was running up to 50. What the fuck, bro? Why are you buying a $100 strike when it's at $50? It just ran up from $5, $7. Take your $7. Take your calls that you bought with a $20 strike when it was $7, and you sell those. You do not keep loading up calls. So I was one of the lucky ones that made money in June. And I still think, because of the buy button being taken away, and in late 2021, as long as the market was doing good, I was still fairly convinced that a second run was imminent. But then we got into the bear market cycle of the Fed having to raise rates. So now we're just living through the suck until that's done. And I guess we're hoping on the negative now, right? I mean, the opposite, right? That a market crash will get somebody in trouble. I don't know. That's not my theory. That's not what I base this play on. You guys know I want big money coming back into the market, and I want a positive catalyst for GameStop or AMC, a good announcement. You could have one, you could have a positive catalyst. You could have a increasing market based on the Fed changing their direction, or you could have both. But yes, there could be a squeeze or a run up if those things line up. Until then, we're just treading water, trying to survive, stay sane, sleep well at night, be good to each other. And that's fine. Most of my plays are long-term plays anyways. It's not a big deal to me. It has nothing to do with me wanting to stretch out my YouTube channel covering one stock. I'm here to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. I'm not pumping anything. I try and lay it all as bare bones reality as you can. That's why I'm the most hated man in the AMC community, or pretty much any community. Stop with your logic. Enough. Just tell us how to turn $1 into $1 million. How about $1 into 100 and do that every day? I like that plan. All right, we are coming up on 3 hours. Manuel says, am I looking into other metals like lithium and copper? So in the course of my Hycroft, Manuel, I can promise you I'm looking into lithium. That's the last piece that I'm working on. And it's so difficult, Manuel, to make any speculation on lithium, because lithium is literally everywhere, as Elon Musk said. But you need to be in a location that either has a like an underground aquifer. You know, some of these lithium mines pump mineral laden water out of underground aquifers, and some of them pull lithium out of lithium enriched soils or clays. There's different ways you can get lithium. I can tell you in Nevada, the ones that are trying to pull it off out of the ground, they're getting pushback from environmentalists. You guys might already know this. So you gotta, it's a complex question. It's a complex answer. I don't think anyone should be making wildly speculative assumptions that a lithium announcement's coming out next week. And even if it did, there's going to be years of court battles with environmentalists because of a plant that only exists in northern Nevada. So, I don't look at it in terms of simple decisions. I certainly wouldn't look at an NFT and say that's a sign. This is a complex process. Are there underground aquifers? Are there lithium enriched soils or clays? What do they got? Have they ever even talked about it one time? These are the things I'm spending the next few days digging into, and it's forcing me to become a lithium expert also, which I also did not want to be. But in order to answer those questions, I need to ask myself all the hard questions, not get all tinfoil, conspiracy, speculative, overhyped. I'm just not that type of investor. I ask myself all the hard questions. If I'm excited about something, I also want to explore the downside. Or how could I possibly be wrong? Because that helps me understand time frame and how much money I put at risk. Reed says, got tired of losing on APE and AMC. Solid. Sold last week to play GTII. That made me whole. Well, I'm very happy for you. Did you get out of GTII already? I'm curious, Reed. Steve says, check out Galvanic Energy. All right, I will do that. I'm looking into several of them. I've been looking in Australia, South America, and the one or two that are in progress or proposed in the U.S. For sure, guys, look, if there were lithium on Hycroft's property, we don't have enough lithium to get us through the next decade. It'd be a big deal if they have it, but I can't tell you that they do. I can't tell you that they're going to announce it. But if they did, and they were able to extract it inexpensively, either through an evaporation pond or what is it called, where you precipitate an acid or whatever through it to pull it out of the ground, a leach pad, whatever method they use, if they have some, it's going to be It's going to pay off, but I'm not there. I'm not there in that analysis on Hycroft yet. That's what I'm working on. I can tell you that every geologist and major person in this industry that covers Hycroft that I've talked to does not follow Hycroft mining, and they have not talked to Diane Garrett. That's not the greatest news. It's like this is on nobody's radar except ours. That is disappointing to me. But on the other hand, if they have a good announcement, it's going to get on everybody's radar real quick. Sneakers, come here. Sit. Could be a sleeper, you know. If nobody's following it and they have good news, that's what you call a sleeper. Ah, get off my... Sit. Even I talked to some industry experts that were at Beaver Creek or whatever it's called, where Diane Garrett was, and they were doing multiple dozens of meetings with small mines that they did not meet with Diane Garrett. I'm kind of disappointed to hear that. But Hycroft's very, very early, guys. You've heard me say this. They're very early in the exploration process. They haven't even done 10% of their core samples or reverse circulation samples. They got a long way to go. And let's be hopeful, if you're in that play, like I am, with a small speculative position, not financial advice, that they find something. If they find something, we're going to be good. If they don't, well, it's going to be a long wait. I do think that, I don't know, I mean, Eric Sprott's in it, and they convinced Adam Aaron and AMC of something. I don't know. I don't want to piss a bunch of people off, but as I've said, mining companies, the CEO is basically a promoter to ensure that money is coming in so they can do proper exploration, proper amount of drilling, and then have enough money to get the milling plant built or the leach pads. They're going to need more if they're expanding mining on other parts of the property. And they've already talked about this. This is not me making stuff up. Hycroft will tell you they're scoping out a new mill. This is in every document that they put out. It's probably going to be $100 million at least. So they needed our money, and they got it back in March with the capital raise. But all of that, you know, everybody that gets into a mining company is hoping that after investing their money, that some good news comes out. So that's what you're waiting on. And when that news comes, you will know, because that thing will skyrocket. $5-10 probably. Depends on the announcement. So, if you bought it at 50 cents because you waited patiently like me, or 60 cents, and you could turn that into $5 or $10 in a couple years, that's a good trade. But there are no guarantees. Many small mining companies don't make it. And then someone else will buy them out in bankruptcy, and they will keep on exploring. Like, sometimes it takes a few iterations, and then eventually someone finds something. I mean, there have been mines where people bought in at $2 and it dropped all the way down to 2 cents. And people still took the chance at 2 cents. And those guys got rich. the investors who bought in at 2 cents. Because finally, after a decade of exploring, they found something. I'm just telling you the reality of the mining business. Everything is, it's speculation till they find something. So buy it as inexpensively as you can and have a patient mindset and hope that the gods are on our side. Muskie Doge says, thoughts on Al from Boston video with Doug. I talked about that earlier. Muskie Doge, I thought the interview was well done. The questions were good. The answers from Doug were good. Seems like a nice guy. They were exactly the answers I would expect, exactly how I would describe to you and have described to you how a legally operating market maker works. I was disappointed, however, that based on all the rhetoric and videos out of my good friend Al, out of all the rhetoric and lawsuit threats against the SEC and AMC, after all of that, that no hard-hitting follow-up questions were asked. How do I think he gets the interviews? David, I could speculate. I mean, after 2 years, tinfoil hat, after 2 years that Doug decided to answer one of Al's tweets and then do an interview with him. I mean, we've made far bigger leaps of happenstance in our tinfoil hat theories than that, right? Does that seem a little suspect to anyone? I mean, I don't want to throw Al under the bus, but... And then they seemed on pretty familiar terms. Uncle Frank from Chicago, what's up? Alex, you're a good man. You know, they seem pretty familiar, but I don't want to, you know, I'm not going to speculate. Maybe Doug just got tired of being, maybe he was mad at, what's his name, the comedian, bringing up rehypothecation. And he decided, look, we need to stick up for ourselves or we're going to be Doug Sifu lied hashtag next. I don't have 20 million to pay off Twitter like Ken Griffin. How to stop a hashtag. Price tag, $20 million. John Stewart, yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to say about Doug and Alex and Uncle Frank. I don't trust people very much that don't show their face and don't allow any discourse, no comments whatsoever. And even if you're respectful to them, if you question them, they block you. All of that's pretty sus in my book. But I'm not going to disparage anybody. Certainly not going to, you know, I'm not trying to start any drama. We'll be nice until it's time to not be nice. Slardy says, I still believe in the AMC squeeze. Look, I've gone over that story so many times in the last 3 hours. I'd probably say just watch it on repeat. Watch it on replay. It should be enough for me to tell you I still have my original investment in AMC shares. In fact, I bought all the way up to $39, and I've been buying APE as it declines. So draw your own conclusions. I do not talk the word MOAS. I don't talk $1 million price targets. Could it squeeze? Yeah. Is a lot of things stacked against the company? Yes, but they often are in speculative plays, right? That's why speculative plays run up so much when things align. But you better have your portfolio balanced so that you're not risking everything on one play. That's never a good idea. And if you're already stuck in that position, I sympathize. Sorry I wasn't around. But we'll get you there to some semblance of a risk-balanced portfolio if you stick with us over the coming years, because I'm not going anywhere. I'm tired of the inexperienced pump and dump clickbaiters tricking people and telling them to ignore filings and ignore common sense shit. Or telling you that an NFT is a sign or a tweet. Decode this tweet. I don't do the hopium shit. I do logic and data and what the, all of the hopium stuff is it's the bonus, right? If any of that's true, then this thing will skyrocket. But there's still a case to be made for these stocks outside of that. And the day that changes, if AMC's headed to bankruptcy, we will talk about it. But I don't see that. GameStop and AMC have plenty of money in the bank. So they got time. They got time for something interesting to develop. Nana says, Pantheon doesn't show his face, and I love him. I have seen Pantheon's face, Nana. He doesn't show it on camera for a legitimate reason. He has shown it to us that know him off camera, and we know why he's not on camera. It has nothing to do with AMC. Gorilla says, are we still live? Yeah, Scarlett is at yoga, and we have a movie at 8 p.m. So I'm just hanging out with you guys. I hadn't seen y'all in a while. I do want to let you know that I was planning on doing a live on Wednesday night with Massalorian. We talked about it. I told my Discord about it. I was sitting here ready to go, and he said he couldn't. He's having some technical difficulties, and he could not send me the invite. I was like, "Look, Massalorian, I've been hosting the live streams, and it's a lot of work for me to host the live stream. Like whoever's hosting, it's got to keep up with managing, putting up all the questions. Like normally we trade so that one of us can relax." And I said, "Why don't you host it this time, and I'll just kick back?" And he said, "Yeah, that's cool." And he, we got to the 20 minutes before, and he could not send me the invite. Technical difficulties. And he said, I'm gonna try and figure it out and then let you know. And then like 2 hours went by, and I never heard anything. So we just we got blown. It didn't happen. So we were gonna live stream Wednesday night. Ken says, it is a slow grind out fight and most people are fatigued. Yeah, much of Wall Street and much of investments are that way, and especially in bear markets. That's why my message to you guys, as much as my haters hate hearing me say it, is be patient. You're in a bear market. Oh, Tony just wants this play to last forever so he can make $1 million a month on YouTube. Yeah, check my video publishing history. Tell me how much I'm making. This is not about making money on YouTube for me. I want to be the voice to tell people it's okay to be patient, because that's what you're dealing with right now. And if you don't realize that, you're not going to make it to the end. That's all. I don't need to be on here every day to tell you that. Like once a week is enough. If I wanted to be on here every day, I'd figure out some clickbait nonsense and put out 10 videos a day. Ms. Tahiti in the house. What is going on? Yeah, and there's plenty of other channels to give you all the hopium injections that you need. That was never the point of this channel. We're the calm, cool. We are the OG calm, cool, and collected. Know what you hold. Fucking OGs. We ain't about this drama, emotional, clickbait, hype stuff. Hey, all that has its place, not the drama. I like me a good hype emotional video too. Not the clickbait shit, you know. I like me a good Boss Blunt's Bigums video every now and then. Love those guys. They have their place. When I'm talking about clickbait, I mean like Tom Zazzulo or Finance News, the ones who shouldn't even be on YouTube because they add no value. But you know, it's good to have a balance between cool, calm, collected, logical, and the hype, right? The truth is somewhere in the middle of what is going to happen with this play. And we all have the same goal. So I love all those guys. I just, you know, I want to be the place that tells you it's okay not to have dates. It's okay to be patient. It's okay to understand you're in a bear market and everything's going to go down, and that's expected in my world. Why am I so calm? Because I've been saying for a long time this was exactly what was going to happen. So if you can forecast it, you can live with it. It's unfortunate we're in a bear market for every stock I own. But I know what's on the other side of the rainbow. Angelina says it's a tough thing to be a real YouTuber. Man, Angelina, if you could go back and look at the last year and a half of the full range of hate comments that I've got, like from the day one, they always start out when you're a new YouTuber, and some of you guys that are watching that are new YouTubers, you know what I'm saying. They're like, well, who are you? Who are you to have an opinion? Where were you a year ago? Where were you 2 years ago? First, they try and do that. And when that doesn't throw you, then they start personally insult. Well, you're just old. You think you're good because you got a nice camera. Like, how about you actually talk about my due diligence? Why has everything got to be a personal insult? And then once they start seeing that, you know, you're not thrown off by that stuff and your due diligence doesn't work, it doesn't end. They just shift the mode of attack. So all of you guys that are watching that are new, just be aware. It's never going to end. You just gotta ignore those people. There's always going to be trolls. Energy vampires, I call them. The only way to handle them, just like your psycho ex, the only way to handle them is ignore. If I had not dated a few psycho exes, I probably wouldn't be ready for YouTube. But on the plus side, you know, I've met dozens of good people in the content creation world and thousands of you that want a channel like this. And like I said, dozens of people in content creation that are able to have adult conversations where we know we're pulling for the same goal, but we don't always agree on the finer points. That's cool. That's called being an adult, being a sane adult, not somebody that needs meds or maybe a therapist session. It's like being a Lions fan or a Cowboys fan for the last 20 years, Tony. Fear of God. Are you doing a play on words on my breast story? Angelina, I had 2 run-ins with 2 chicks before I met Scarlett. One I dated, I lived with her for about 5 years, and that was when I really, that was my wake-up call. I don't know how I made it into my 40s without ever running into a psycho. But I was with this lady. You can imagine why I was with her. I mean, the fringe benefits. But it was like a freaking roller coaster. And then after her, I ran into another one that I was with for about a year. That's when I learned what all of these bipolar personality disorders, what they really were all about. And I can tell you, there's some people in this community that are bipolar. By their actions, by their tweets, by the way they interact with people. Nice one day, hateful the other. I love you, I hate you. Tell me everything I can about you so I can break you down tomorrow. There's some bipolar motherfuckers in this community. And you've also dated some of them. I know some of you have come across those. Once you know what it is, it's very obvious. I can tell you, if you come across someone that you're dating like that in your life, or God forbid you're married to one, save yourself. Sneakers, come here. Save yourself and get out, because there's no fixing it. You are not going to fix it. You got to block, isolate, move on, and save your own sanity. Mac and Bees says, knowing you're bipolar is more than half the battle. The first one that I dated, Mac and Bees, she went to a therapist and got diagnosed after we broke up. And then she admitted, yeah, my therapist told me I'm bipolar. Well, at least you know now, and you have medication you can take. The second one that I was with for a year told me when I left her because she was fucking nuts, she admitted at the end, oh yeah, I know I'm bipolar. Don't you think that would have been like important to disclose at the beginning of our dating relationship? Good Lord. What about the kids, Muskie Doge? I mean, that's a personal decision. If you're married to someone that's bipolar, it's your sanity and your ability to cope and provide your kids a stable environment versus are you better off or worse off alone? Because your kids are going to, react how you are handling your daily situation. Nana Ape says, I'm happy being single. Yeah. Nothing wrong with being single, for sure. I made Scarlett wait 5 years plus. She's like, are you fucking crazy? Not because I wanted to be single, but because, if you know someone long enough, they will reveal they're crazy, right? Do not. If you're young and you're listening, do not get engaged in a year. You're not getting married in a year. You got plenty of time. You got the rest of your life, but boy, you hitch your wagon to the wrong freaking horse. You are fucked. Warning labels needed. Yeah, if you do have a personality disorder, I mean, I can sympathize. A lot of some of these people don't realize it. That's the real problem. And some of them do realize it, and they're actively going to therapy and on meds, and God bless you. I get it. It's not something you can control. It's a brain chemistry issue. So no hate to those people, but you should disclose if you know that you have it, or if you're having relationship issues where you love someone one day and you hate them the next. You should go see a therapist and get on something to control it, because all of that stuff can be controlled. YB says, I got my dogs. It's all fun and games until you need a lawyer, Tony. Miss Tahiti, you were married for 32 years? Holy shit. Scarlett was happy to realize the other day that she's made it the longest in a relationship with me. So congrats, Scarlett. You are the true winner. You did it. George says, 2 years single, been married to a bipolar and addicted person for 25 years, still recovering. I mean, 25 years. Look, guys, if you have been in that relationship, if you've not been in one, the trauma that it can inflict on someone, you can't even begin to understand it. George, I know what you're going through. If you ever need to talk, let me know. The second one that I went through, it was very emotionally damaging until I realized what the problem was. It wasn't me. It was how skilled these people are at manipulating. And then I vowed to never let anybody do that to me again. And I became okay with it. But I understand what you're saying. There's a great book. Wish I could remember the name of it. But, realizing that you were played, basically, by a skilled manipulator can help you get over it. And then you just got to develop the internal resolve to be strong. Reed says, only the person afflicted can decide to seek help until the relationship is compromised, no matter what the other person does. That's right, Reed. I mean, if you're the innocent one in the relationship, it does not matter what you do. If you're in a dysfunctional relationship with someone on the spectrum, there's literally nothing you can do. And that is what makes you nuts. Like, you're trying so hard. It does not matter to them. They are at the whims of how they wake up feeling that day. They're not inherently evil. They just can't help it. Riptide, thank you for your service. I have not been on a combat tour. I was active duty back in the days when... sorry, I was not active duty. I was in a reserve unit back in the days when they were sending people over to Iraq. But my unit never got activated, so... I cannot imagine... Just another ape. You guys, if you're still hanging out, you are on the official #2 ranked Short Squeeze channel on both Facebook, Google, and YouTube. We are officially ranked If you don't believe me, I do have a certificate. Number 2 short squeeze channel. We do have some tools. Short squeeze tools. Just sign up for my I'm not gonna do the joke. I'm not gonna do the joke. No. These psychos hear me tell a joke and then they clip it and post it in their Discord. Look, he admitted Ken Griffin called him. You guys are fucking tools, man. Are you that stupid? Oh, Lordy. I mean, it's no wonder that some people are going nuts if you can't tell a joke without them thinking you're being serious. Come on, man. I know, it's my deadpan delivery. You guys, unless you know me, you can't tell if I'm joking or not. Reed says, having battled BPD myself, I concur with the observation. There seem to be many influencers suffering from manic and depressive cycles. Yeah. I would say that on YouTube, we got a lot of narcissistic personalities, and on Twitter, we got a lot of people with bipolar. And some of them were previously YouTubers. Not a professional. This is just my unprofessional diagnosis. I do hope that some of these people get help, but it's not my job to call them out. So if you see someone constantly attacking someone, you know, I like you one day, I'm attacking you the next day, bipolar. I'm going to live stream with you one day, I'm going to attack you next week, bipolar. And I hope they get help. I feel sorry for them. It is, I mean, it's tough. If you haven't been diagnosed and you don't have someone to talk to help you understand what's happening, they're kind of lost. All right, it is 5:30. Let's check on some after hours. Anything popping in after hours? Did I miss anything on earnings? All of the SPYs climbed up a little bit. AMC flat, GameStop flat. APE is flat. Let's see what GTII closed at. $4.45. And MMTLP actually up 8% today, not too bad. Kathy says they have no empathy. That is a fact, Kathy. I mean, you guys know if you have that, if you have BPD or you've been with someone who has it, they don't have empathy. Like, that is not an emotion they have. Ape father, bipolar, I would say. I mean, I love Richie, but I've seen some extremes. It's possible. Reed says it's important to be reasonably kind or decent, not to inflame people or who are on the edge, suffering depression or lashing out. Yep. Reed, that's why, hopefully you don't think that I'm doing that. I usually just try and disengage from them because I know there's no benefit for me trying to have a reasonable conversation with them because they're beyond help. So unfortunately, they just have to get blocked from my world. And if that means it impacts their future success as my channel grows, that is and an unfortunate consequence of their own choices. I'll let y'all know when we get to the theater if it's packed or not. I'm going to one that I don't normally go to. It's in a shopping mall in the south part of Austin. Fear of God says, I feel for any woman who has been abused physically or mentally by a man. That is also a problem, right? And on the BPD spectrum, there are both men and women that suffer from that. But yeah, physical abuse from either sex to the other is also not okay. And if you're in a situation where you feel like you need to do that, or you're a victim of that, get the fuck out, honestly. There's billions of other people in the world. Trust me, you'll be okay. You'll find someone else. The biggest lesson I could tell you in dating or marriage or whatever is kind of just like stocks. It's gonna be okay. There's another one. That is hard for some people to hear. But as soon as you can internalize and accept that, everything just kind of becomes easy. If you don't believe that about yourself, then you got some work to do on yourself. But if you're good with yourself, you're going to draw in the right person. And there are plenty, trust me. I think we set limits for ourselves thinking, oh, that's the only person for me. You just set a self-limiting belief. Don't do that to yourself. You're better than that. Muskie says people stay because they think the person will change with time when they won't. You're right. They will not change. Opium is in real life and the market, Muskie. Yeah, true enough. I mean, I always joke about like I should start up a dating channel. And honestly, a lot of the things that we talk about being cold-blooded and emotionless, I mean, obviously you want to support and take care of your other half, but like being non-reactive but still being supportive, that can work in relationships just like it does in the stock market. Sounds crazy, right? Nana Ape, what state or country are you in? Angelina, did he ever accuse you of anything? I'm just curious. He said he had an affair with his secretary. Often a sign that they're cheating is if they're accusing you of cheating. Angelina, Kathy says he did you a favor. Exactly. Yep, Angelina says he accused her of cheating. That is a very common sign that they're doing something wrong when they're accusing you and you know you're not doing anything. Reed says best to not get married to any stock or any person, Reed. See how those all tie together? Don't marry a stock. Don't marry a person. Now, I get it. I get it. You want to have kids. I saw someone propose this, and I actually think it's a pretty interesting idea. What do you guys think about this? They said that marriage licenses should have a 5-year option to renew. No fault. What do you guys think about that? Would that be horrible for society, or would it help society that after 5 years or 7 years there was a no fault option to renew or not renew, and if you decided this wasn't working out, you could walk away with no penalties? Because half the people think they're going to get married and it's all going to be great. And then 5-7 years in, they realize they made a really bad choice. Yeah, like a contract, Kathy. I mean, this has been proposed in the media. And, despite my Catholic upbringing, having been in many relationships, I kind of see the sense, and not just having been in many relationships, but having watched so many people get divorced. I kind of like the idea of having a 5 to 7 year contract with a no fault option to renew or not renew. That would be potentially an awkward 5th anniversary. You signed up for it, I mean, that keeps you on your absolute best behavior. Scavenger, I hope you hope you heard my talk about advice to relatively newer YouTubers about all the hate you're going to get. Whether you're new or you've been around for a while, it never stops. Angelina, thank you. I am very proud of him. We had a long talk on the Discord chat last night. I was trying to figure out how Meat Kevin got his what did Meat Kevin say he got, guys? Was it a CFP or a CFA designation? He's like, I want to tell you, I'm now finally a certified financial planner. And they were asking me last night, Tony, have you ever thought about getting a CFP or a CFA or an MBA or a law degree? Yeah, I've thought about all of those things. I've taken the GMAT. I got a high enough score on the GMAT to get in the UT business school. But like working for myself, that I took the GMAT while I was still in the corporate world. And my company would pay us, they'd pay for your business school. And I decided to leave that company after 15 years. I should have stayed 2 more years and have them pay the $80,000 for my MBA. But when you're working for yourself, what is the point of spending $80,000 or $100,000 on an MBA? What's the point now of me getting a Series 66 or a CFP or a CFA? I'm not going to start up a business financially advising people. So do I want a designation just to prove to some Yahoo on YouTube that I could do it? I've already got a bachelor's degree in the field. Is 3 more letters behind my name going to convince anybody of anything? No, they're still going to hate if they want to be a hater. If you can't tell from listening to my channel or talking to me or asking me a question where I immediately give you the fucking answer that I know what I'm talking about, then it doesn't matter how many letters I have behind my name. Why do I need a CFP and 4,000 to 6,000 hours doing financial planning for individuals? It's not going to matter. So I don't know. From bragging rights, yeah, I think about it sometimes. But I don't ever plan to be a personal financial planner. It just doesn't really excite me. I'd rather hang out with you guys. I don't want to be responsible for someone's financial retirement. Scavenger says a drink if your AMC has a bar. Thank you, brother. I think that they do, but you know what? Just in case they don't, Scavenger, I'm gonna pour a homebrew just for you. The $1 shot. But if they have a bar, I'll buy you one. I'll buy one. Thank you. I appreciate it. And Scavenger, I'm going to say this sincerely.
A drink if your AMC has a bar. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. I'm going to say this sincerely. A lot of people hate me, but the ones who bothered to get to know me, I'm happy to ever help you out to grow your channel if you need to. No charge, just like I truly enjoy helping people. So feel free to reach out on Twitter. There's several other people I talk to on the reg. And, the offer's open. Meanwhile, while MT is going to tell us about Halloween End, I want to share some Bond thoughts with you guys, because if you've been listening to the live streams or follow me on Twitter, I was having this conversation with Avi on Twitter in the background about this whole Bond thing. Have you guys seen that? Have you heard about that or seen about it? There was this Twitter thread, and there was also the Jim Chanos thing. And I don't know if I should do a 5-minute video on this. Do you guys, or is this still a narrative that the, hedge funds are buying up bonds to short AMC or to own the company? I've been putting some hours into digging into all this. And someone sent me last night when we were having the Discord voice chat, Jim Chanos's talk, where he said he was long APE and short AMC. And he said in that speech, in that little interview, he said the bondholders are eventually going to own AMC. Did you guys hear that? Did you think about what that meant? Because I'll tell you what I think it meant. But some people have interpreted that and stretched it. Sneakers, come here. Sneakers is going to be eating some rabbits for dinner. Get under the desk. Come here. Lay down. Some people have interpreted that as like the bondholders are buying up AMC bonds to sway the company, to own the company. I want to, since we're just still all hanging out, how many people do we have in the chat right now? I'm going to drop some 100 people. All right. Drop some thoughts on you. I listened to Jim Chanos again last night, and I want to tell you what I heard and what I think he meant. And I think you'll agree. He said that I think you'll agree with my interpretation. I don't agree with what he's saying. Jim Chanos said, I think the bondholders will eventually own AMC. What he's saying, what I hear him saying, is that he thinks that eventually AMC is going to end up in Chapter 11. And what does that mean? Well, if you know how things work, the bondholders are first in line over us, the common stock holders. So what he's saying when he says the bondholders will eventually own AMC, he's saying either in Chapter 11, the bondholders will come out on top in the reorganization, or to prevent a bankruptcy, there will be a debt for equity exchange where AMC will offer to the bondholders, hey, we'll give you 1 million shares of stock. I'm just making up a number, guys. We'll give you equity, we'll give you stock in exchange for forgiving the debt. And then, as by virtue of being a bondholder, you claim control over the company. That's what I think Jim Chanos meant. I don't see it getting that far. That's like a really pessimistic viewpoint. The other thing that I was seeing going around on Twitter was that people saying, and this guy was trolling stockholders. He was saying that people are buying bonds to short AMC. In my world, that makes no sense. You have no vote as a bondholder. You're not going to control anything. And the amount of bonds monetarily that are available for a hedge fund or the public to buy, you're not going to control anything. And you don't short a company by buying bonds. Like, all of this makes no sense. So when I was talking to Avi, I was like, why are you giving this story legs? None of this makes sense. And he eventually agreed with me, and he issued an update or a correction or traction to his tweet, and God bless him for being open-minded. But as we were talking about it, you know, I uncovered a couple things. Like, if here's just a couple of maybe learning moments for you. And again, I'm no bond expert. I don't trade in bonds. But as I'm looking into it, what I learned is, like, if you're holding bonds in a company, especially in a inflationary or recessionary environment where treasuries are going up and the value of equities are going down, and you're stuck holding these bonds paying 5%, and you see the value of your bonds going down too, you want to hedge. So you know you're going to lose value on your bonds, and you know you're holding a bond paying 5 or 6%, but you can go buy something else for 7, 8, 9, 10%, other corporate bonds. How do you hedge all that? You short the company or you short the bond. Shorting bonds is more difficult than shorting the company. So this guy that was trolling on Twitter, he's got a check mark by his name, John, whatever his name was. He might have been partially right. There might be people shorting AMC that are bondholders, but they're not doing it because they want to take control of AMC. They're just naturally reacting to the fact that they hold bonds and they're trying to hedge their position. If you know, in an interest rate increasing, inflationary, recessionary environment, that your bonds are going to lose value, your natural reaction, if you intend to hold that bond, is you're going to short something to protect yourself. You're either going to short the bonds or you're going to short the stock as a hedge. You learn something new every day in this game. That is what I love the most about doing YouTube and talking with you guys, and talking to so many people and hearing so many different viewpoints. Whether I agree with them or not, it makes me think out of the box and learn. And I always question everything. I question myself. I question other people. And that is the crux of how we learn. So don't be afraid of people challenging you. If they're being rude or they're starting drama or they're personally insulting you, block them from your life and never look back. They're a thought. T-H-O-T. That hoe over there. They're a fucking bipolar thought. But if they are bringing up something about your due diligence, it's okay to think about it. It's okay to question yourself. That is everything about life, business, relationships, investing. If they're just bringing hate nonstop, well, I mean, you need to judge that for what it is. But if they're bringing a reasonable discussion, you should entertain it and question yourself and take the opportunity to learn. Just a quick reminder, if you're still hanging out, we're going to be in Nashville here coming up in a couple weeks. If you're in the area, if you're watching this on a replay, if you want to hang out with us, I don't know if I'm allowed to announce this, but I think maybe, just maybe, the Massalorian and guest will be joining us in Nashville, November 4th through 7th. I have a wedding, a family wedding to go to, so I got a couple of things I need to do on Friday and Saturday evening. But we're going to be partying it up in Nashville in just a couple weeks. If you are in the area or if you come by, you know where we're going to be. Downtown, where the action's at. First drink will be on me if you're a subscriber of this channel. And if Massalorian happens to show up, well, you can expect There might be a little bit of photos or live stream coming out of that. I have been to Nashville one time. Scarlett's never been. I was going to take her to the Grand Ole Opry because you can't miss that. But either the rehearsal dinner or the wedding, one of them, you know, the nights that I have free, there's no Grand Ole Opry those nights. So we won't be doing that, but we will be doing the downtown scene, the country western dancing, couple shots. Whatever there's fun to do in Nashville, we're going to find it that weekend. Luigi Salazar in the house. What's up, buddy? Cheers with an IPA. Is there anything you have not done? Is that Superman t-shirt for real, Kathy? Yeah. What have I not? I have not bungee jumped, Kathy, and I've not been to New Zealand. I still got a couple things left. Bare knuckle boxing, have I ever done? I've been in a couple fights, Belle Biv DeVoe, but not recently. Chopper 68 headed to Black Adam tonight. We are leaving here in 45 minutes. Headed out ourselves. 30 minutes. And I am getting hungry. What should I eat tonight? Burger, pizza. I have not eaten all day. I'm thinking like popcorn is not going to cut it. I need to have some real food, especially in light of the shots that we've been having together. Parasailing 2 or 3 times, Angelina. I think once with a female and once with one of my kids who was scared to death because he was young. I've done jumping out of an airplane 3 times. I'm kind of a daredevil. You might not get that from YouTube, but I'm a little bit wild and crazy. I have not done the, what do you call it, where the wingsuit? That fascinates me. The whole wingsuit jumping thing. Have not done that. Have I ever dropped? Ms. Tahiti, what does that mean? Bungee jumping? Not bungee jumped, Kim. One of my, the managers that I worked with, we had the same job. He was managing first shift and I was managing second shift. Same department. His employees called the radio station and they had him come picked up at work and they took him out and they bungee jumped him with a mic on him live on radio. Oh, man. Bungee jumping to me is more scary than jumping out of a plane. I don't know why. I still would try it. I'd like to bungee jump off a bridge over a river. I'd like something more than an airbag to be under me. Have you ever seen like at the Grand Canyon or wherever it is where they have that arch and these people jump off and they swing? Shh. I'd like to do that. Angelina, I've been to Hawaii only one time for 24 hours and I did not sleep. We were on our way back from Okinawa. We had, this was a military deployment. We had a plane with a fuel leak, supposedly. Now, I don't trust these pilots. I don't trust these pilots. I think they wanted to stop in in Wake Island. Wake Island was the fucking bomb. There's like 10 people that live on Wake Island. It's an old military base. They have everything there. They fucking opened the shit up for us all night. We were playing open bar, volleyball on the beach. Nobody fucking slept. They were so happy to have somebody came to our island. It's just a military base. They were so excited. It's an emergency stop. We went snorkeling during the day and we partied all night. And then we did a hop to Hawaii because they had to drop off one of the jets for parts. Sure. So when we landed in Hawaii, we got our dorm, and I immediately reserved a car, and we drove all around the island and did sightseeing. I had one 24. I never slept that whole 24 hours. I got on the plane and slept all the way back to Texas. But like, I got one day in Hawaii, I'm not sleeping. I'm going to see everything I can. Every beach, the pineapple farms, the fucking clubs, all of it. Take it all in as much as possible. That was how many times do you get a free trip to Hawaii? But I want to go back and spend some time there. But where do you go? Do you go to the island with the beaches, or do you go to the island with the volcano? What do you do? What do you guys think? Scarlett and I have been talking about. I was reading up on like the volcano island in Hawaii. Apparently, there's a cabin up there you can stay in. It's very primitive and very cold. Is that right? Like it's cold at the top of the volcano in Hawaii? Ms. Tahiti is making me. I've never been to Tahiti. What is the other island in the Caribbean that thinks they have the lock on Mardi Gras? Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Jamaica, Trinidad. Is that what I'm thinking of? Tobago? These girls told me, Tony, you must do Mardi Gras on our island. We were the originators of the Mardi Gras party. I'm pretty sure it was Trinidad. They did a good sales job. I've not been to Brazil for a Mardi Gras either. That's kind of on my bucket list. Rio. Sounds like trouble. Sounds like trouble. Oh, the other thing we were talking about doing, which has been on my bucket list for 20, 30 years, is a whitewater rafting in the Grand Canyon. If you guys got a better place for whitewater rafting, drop it in the chat. I've done canoeing over some rapids, like not anywhere exciting. But if you got a legit challenging, like life memory place to go whitewater rafting, let me know in the chat, please. We're looking for a spot. I'm damn near past the age where I should be doing that shit. I better get it done. We were watching the new National Lampoon Vacation with Ed Helms. Have you guys seen that? Where he's like, okay, kids, we're going to go to Wally World. We're going to drive across the country. And he stopped to do some whitewater rafting. And their guide, right before they went out on the raft, broke up with his girlfriend. He's like, fuck it. I'm going to take the left turn and go on the suicide run. That's my kind of style. I want that kind of rapids. Nana Ape says, I want to do a hot air balloon. I have not done a hot air balloon. Yes, we're down for that, Nana. I've done a helicopter ride in Alaska. I've done a helicopter ride, and I've done a small prop plane. New River in West Virginia. Okay, I'm going to add that one. New River. Leon Alexander says, might be Trinidad, but all the Caribbean island has Carnival. I've done the whole Puerto Rico, like 12 days of Christmas, Leon. But I have not been in the Caribbean for Carnival. Angelina says, I worked for a hot air balloon in my hometown in Cali, rode it and nearly killed. Holy fuck. We've had some bad crashes here in Texas. You guys might have heard about that. This guy was running a hot air balloon company here. He had a history of some drug or alcohol issues, and then he ran a hot air balloon into some power lines and killed everybody. Glenwood Caverns, Colorado. All right, Stephen. Stage 4 Rapids. Thank you. Stephen, I want to do it one time before I get so old that I'm going to crack my back on some rapids. You know me, I'm an adrenaline junkie. Between jumping out of a plane, dating bipolar women, and buying short squeeze stocks, you ought to know by now I'm an adrenaline junkie. As boring as some of the live streams might be, I'm pretty exciting in real life. You don't want to hang out with me if you can't hang. What are the Leon? What are the craziest New Year's Eve, like in the Hispanic community? There's some crazy, even in the the white bread community, there's some crazy New Year's rituals. Like in my family, it was always, okay, you got to have black-eyed peas. We were kind of like black-eyed peas on New Year's Day. That was about, then I went to Puerto Rico and it's like, oh, you've got to throw a bucket of water into the driveway. Or you got to honk the horn on your car to scare the devils away. Like, what? This is a whole nother level of superstition. What are some of the crazier New Year's Eve rituals that you guys have seen? Leon says, where I'm from, we originally do 9 days of Christmas party until the morning, basically drunk 9 straight days. Fear of God. Wore the Jordan 11s with a tux to my junior prom in high school. They look great because of the shiny patent leather. All right. Fear of God. I don't know how old you are. Senior prom in high school. I always thought that you were like closer to my age. But if you're talking about Jordan 11, I don't know about Jordan 11s. Are they new? Are they 20 years old? By the way, speaking of voodoo, Old Doge, that is always one of our stops when we go to New Orleans, is one of the voodoo shops. Anybody into voodoo? I always pick up a voodoo trinket before we go gambling in New Orleans. All right. I think going on 5 hours, we should probably close it down so I can go get cleaned up and refreshed. Let the dogs out before we got to leave here to go see Black Adam. So thank you, guys. I've been missing you. You know, it's not for any reason other than I don't want to lead you astray in a bear market. And it's been a bit crazy, right, for the last 30 days. And the fact that my sleep schedule has been fucked up. But Scarlett starting a new day shift schedule on Monday, a new job. Congratulations, Scarlett. New job and a big raise. I hope to be back on a regular schedule with you guys starting next week or early into next week. And if it's a rough time finding a good play, we'll still search hard and we'll find those good ones. We're going to find what these retail pump and dump channels are talking about. And we're going to get in early and we're going to get out and we're going to let them play it for 2 more weeks and lose their money. So you're going to be seeing more of me coming up now that she's getting back to a real schedule. I hope to get my life back on a normal schedule. And I'll let you know about Black Adam. I have an update coming for you on Hycroft. We'll do a weekend live stream over this weekend. I'll talk to Johnny Boy and see if he can get his software working for a live stream. But I enjoyed hanging out with you guys. Go see Black Adam. Go buy some of that straight to the bottom of the line popcorn. And be good to one another. One and all. Twitter, YouTube. Stop fucking infighting, guys. What are you solving? Come on. Trying to get my mouse over to the right screen. All right. Everything ended flat for the day. I'm just taking one last look at the charts. Peace, love, and prosperity, and above all, logic. I love you guys. Take care.